Alright, so we're going to be checking out some more WhiskerWood. For those who didn't see WhiskerWood, and before I forget, check out Treacle, absolutely fantastic content creator. Also been playing WhiskerWood recently, and plays RimWorld and a bunch of other stuff. Absolutely fantastic. Definitely recommend. But for those who haven't seen WhiskerWood, the building in the game is kind of on a grid base, not just horizontally, but vertically. If you ever played Timberborn, the aesthetic and the building, very Timberborn-esque. But it is a city builder, and the idea behind it is you go onto this area, and you're constantly being bothered by the monarchy of the cats back home, and they keep forcing you into debt, and you have to pay your taxes, and it keeps escalating. Now, this game is early access. Eventually, when the game is fully released, you will be able to fight back and, get your independence. In the early access, we can't do that yet. Instead, we live... Where's my water? There's my water. Yeah, so instead, we live here. But one of the cool things about the game is you might look at it and go, oh, that's... you got a little colony going on. But there's a lot more than meets the eye. Because if we go in here, we can slowly go deeper and deeper. I actually have a giant area of housing inside here. And we just keep getting deeper, and there's just these mines that we're continuing to expand as we're looking for ore and all that. But as you can see, in 2 days, the claws are going to come by with their taxes. Now it says I've got 525 due. That's for today. Tomorrow, I'm going to be taxed based on how many whiskers I have, which is how many people, and then an administration fee. So the reality is I'm going to be actually paying about 1,000 in taxes. And then my entire storage is worth about 2,000 bucks. But that includes my food and everything, which I clearly don't want to give up. So let's go ahead and get this thing moving along. But you got your whiskers. They run around, they have your little jobs and all that. But it kind of has this game cycle of trying to make money, trying to do that, pay off your taxes, and keep everything moving forward. Now, where we left off yesterday, I do have my soup kitchen up and running. But I don't have enough berries to really get the food, because I made a really bad mistake the last time I was playing, and that mistake was I was educating everybody, which in most games is a good thing, and in real life is genuinely a good thing. But in the game, what you have to do to keep them happy increases dramatically, and you can educate them to a level that you can no longer possibly keep them happy. So running into that as a whole thing. You're still cleaning up that area to make a giant field. This area has just begun starting to get cleaned up. Okay, you're ready for the next expansion. But it's a really fun game. Got a lot of depth to it, a lot of ridiculous stuff. Is educating someone beyond their intelligence? Yeah, no, it's just kind of one of those things in this game that's like, you physically cannot make a house to make them happy enough because you educated them too much. Now, we are slowly fixing it, but it's got us in a bad way, because at the end of every day, you're supposed to get approval rating, which is what you do to get more people and all that, and certain other effects. But due to what I've done, my approval rating I get at the end of the day, if I get any, is not good. Because everyone's like, my house isn't nice enough, my clothes aren't nice enough, my food's not nice enough. But we're working on it. Meanwhile, we actually got research up and running again. What I'm currently trying to do is get the tailor online. Because my hope is I can get the tailor online to have the weaver switch from making the not as good clothes to the nicer clothes, and have yet another thing to slowly try and improve morale. But the big headache I'm trying to get sorted is I am going to need to get more things I can sell. Because, like, as you can see here, I'm literally going to get no approval today. And that's because almost everyone was upset because their food was bland, because they have too high of expectations. We got a couple people, well, 20 of them are complaining that their clothing is worn out. There's, 32 of them are complaining that their houses aren't nice enough. They are unhappy with their diner. There's mild pollution, which they're just going to have to live with. But you get the idea. Is their name queue open? Here, I can go ahead and get the name queue open. I will ask, if you got someone named after you in WhiskerWood yesterday, don't join the queue. Otherwise, you're free to join. And I will take the time to try and get people named. But you do the ! Join, and you'll be able to become one of the Whiskers. I'll do it as it's convenient, basically. So we can go over here. Yeah, I'll let people get their name in there for a couple of minutes. And then once that's done, we'll get that sorted out. Okay, meanwhile, let's go in here. Because what I was working on the last time is I've got these houses. They're not as nice as the house I can make now. So we're slowly converting over to the nicer houses. Same reason, trying to make our people happier. But this is one of the things they get you at. So supply ship shows up every couple of days. If you refuse the supplies, it makes the monarchy angry at you. And if you hit minimum happiness, they'll turn violent against you. But you get the idea here. All of these require me to go in debt. So I'm taking the minimum to go in debt. I could do this one to get nicer clothing, which honestly wouldn't be the worst. But we're struggling to pay their taxes. So I kind of can't really afford to welcome on more headaches. Why? Oh, we're coming up in fall again. I'm gonna have to get another one of these. Okay, so you take logs. Let's go to logistics here. And we're going to reject everything from there. Just say only accept logs and fuel. So that way they can start taking this place and keeping the logs and fuel right here by the charcoal. Because they're not keeping, like, they're burning through the stuff way too fast. One thing we can do... Okay, so we have just the one working the furnace. The other thing I'm waiting on that I keep peeking over here is I'm waiting for them to hollow out this room. And the reason for that is I plan to fill that in and grow mushrooms in here. There's going to be some work, but I'm going to have to get that sorted through. They'll figure it out. Okay. Just gonna move you over here. Because I want them to fill that in, and we can start getting the mushrooms going, because that'll be more food we can make. How are you doing? You still got 10% to go there. This field is about ready for cotton. Ready for cotton. Ready for cotton. Go back to follow. Ready for cotton. Put it to follow. What we're doing is we're checking the fertilizer level. And the only exception is I'm not doing, like this one, it's at 1. I'm just leaving it. It's all sand. It's never going to go up. Not reasonably. We're just kind of leaving it be awful. Okay. Yep, so again, everyone's really upset about their crappy quality of their food. How goes life in the feline overlords? The taxes are getting rough. So you're doing the trees, you're doing the trees. Let that go to follow. And you're doing our flax. Okay. And we've wiped out pretty much... That is our last tree on the island. That isn't... Actually... You know what? There are 2 trees over here that I could cut down technically. But they're not my farmed trees. Okay, so when that tree's done... Okay, so they've shown up with taxes. Now, as you can see, I could give them anything here for taxes. So I'm going to start with the stuff that's kind of the only thing I use it for is taxes. But you'll notice that didn't get me nearly as far as I was hoping. Which is our concern. So I'm going to give up some copper and a bunch of other stuff I probably don't want to give up. Okay. So that's enough to satisfy taxes. But you can see we're kind of putting ourselves in a rough spot where I'm kind of burning so many resources just for the taxes. And the stuff like the copper and all that, I mine it. It doesn't come back. When it's gone, it's gone. So I need to get this cotton and all that producing way better than it is. And you're willing to give me stuff. So I'm going to take for right now the planks and the cut stone to supplement things. And meanwhile, let's take a peek down below. We switch over from Megabonk. We still haven't included the solve the tax problem decision and lasting bonk. Yeah. Yeah, no, we're working on trying to get the solution. Basically, what it needs to happen is I need to get it so I can sustainably get, like, fish or plants or something that I can trade to keep the taxes at bay. But right now, because our people are so unhappy, it's really limiting what I can do. Okay, so we went down below and did what we could do that. Solution is poison the cream you send them. Well, I was honestly thinking, like I was trying to do the math the other day, that we can put 3 people on pulling up the fish. And the fish we get is worth 2 credits per fish or whatever. But I actually came to realize that I believe it'll actually be at a tax net loss just pulling up fish. Like, the cost for having the whiskers is higher than the fish I get out of it. Whereas stuff like the cotton and all that can absolutely get ahead of it, but I've got to actually get the cotton up. And we're about to get a lot of cotton, which will help us. Okay, pirates have shown up demanding... The pirates are easy because they got so much machinery here. They just send them on their way immediately. And you got the supply people showing up. So little by little we'll get that turned into mushroom and all that. Oh no, that's not what you want. Mushroom. Okay. We need the houses to be built. But that'll get us up to the best houses we are aware of being able to make. We don't have the luxuries to take care of them. We've got the prereq for the luxuries where we can make the thread. We're waiting for this research to get done, and that's probably not going to get done anytime soon. Okay, so you have nothing left to chop down around here. You've cut down the last wild trees in the entire area. So then you got 2 more here, and then I guess we just delete entirely our wood chopper because no more wild trees. And I am trying to tunnel over to this island. It's been a project that's been queued up for a while. It hasn't gotten super far, but that's fine. Okay. Well, we definitely need that house to get done before winter shows up. That's a way to do and use the axis? Yeah, no, we're going down below, but yeah, no, we're starting to get pretty barren because we are exhausting everything that this island has to offer. We need to get to the other islands. I have been sitting here doing it the other way. I wonder if I can literally just make a bridge across here out of planks. I haven't tried. I don't think you can go over the deep water with them. It could just be very costly material-wise. Yes, it'd be 127 logs to cut across there. We don't have boats before the end game. We either have to build costly, limited bridge, or just dig, which is easy. Yeah, I mean, that's what we've been doing, is just digging. Because I figure we keep digging down, getting more ore. Not doing crazy mega projects. Yeah, we're starting to get to that point. But I gotta increase my income. Alright. Like, I need to improve the pathing between here. Because, like, we got these ones. So you're the mining camp. Which mining camp are you assigned to? Oh, you're the mining camp way down there. Which I've got an elevator shaft that goes down there. Still. It does make me wonder if it's a thing that down the road I'm going to need to put housing deeper down in there and all that. I'm willing to bet we've also hit the capacity of the cafe. That's another problem we're running into. I'm just not really observing. That honestly could be what we need to do. Is once we get these houses up here, get way down to where my tunnel is over here. Start putting a couple of houses, a cafe, and all that down here. Okay, so we got the tailor researched. So leave that alone for right now. Okay, so get the tailor built. So with the tailor, we're going to switch the recipe over to make threads. Because once the tailor's built, we're going to have them producing the nicer coats. Set that to be the priority. Let's see, there isn't a forester's hut. So the equivalent of what they have is your farms actually do it. So that's actually what's happening here, is they're farming trees. So like this farm here primarily does just the trees. And then this one's doing flax and a little bit of trees. I mean, this one was making food, but we've since switched them to doing almost nothing but cotton just to try and keep up with the taxes. Yeah, so you're going to work on making fabric. Which will then go to the tailor, and the tailor will make our nicer clothing. That should help a lot. The fair target biology chemical weapons development, here we go, runs off to found highly illegal weapons lab for the Whiskers on a hidden island in international waters. Yep. Okay, and with that, the forestry is done. Which is good, because now I can bring you in. Ship has revived, offering trade. I don't have anything to spare for you, man. Okay, so we've got 6 people who are not assigned. And one of those is a really talented engineer and a really talented explorer. We've got you here doing the weaver stuff. Well, we're gonna probably have them over there in just a minute. Oh, that's a whisker ship. I thought that was the taxes coming in. That's fine. Yeah, no, it's just one of those things that I think people were getting a little tired of Mega Bonk. So, you know, want to switch it up. Alright, let's start naming a couple of people. So we got Rongor. You're going to be one of our explorers. You currently work in the weaver's place. Then you got one of our farmers back here. That'd be Raudama. We got another engineer. And that'll be Banul. We got another farmer. That'll be Cerise. The mage. And we can go down here. We got another engineer. That'd be Tom Twice. Got another farmer. That'd be No Name Roy. Okay, and that's what we got for now. Cool. Because you're actually an engineer in real life? Nice. Well, now you're an adorable mouse engineer. Who is underpaid and overtaxed. Also like in real life. I mean, not to you specifically, just in general. Broadly speaking. Okay, cool. So we got our person here. So you are going to be our tailor. And we'll have Grit here help. And even though Tom Twice is not really particularly good at tailoring, going to step in and help with that. So you're an engineer all the... Oh, definitely underpaid, yeah. Really, you tried to phrase non-aim Roy as French? Non-aim Roy? No soul Roy? Yeah, no, I thought it was no name Roy. Like I have... Yeah, no name Roy. Oh, do I have it wrong? I have no name Roy. Yeah. Let me fix that. Okay. Alright, now it's officially winter. So let me fix that. I got the, I was doing it right the first time, and then I second-guessed myself, and that was my mistake. There we go. I have also observed there is literally no fuel being used anywhere. Alright, so Treacle, I'm gonna need you to stop smelting things. In the interim, so people don't actively die, let's go ahead and put a fire back here for heat. There we go. And a fire there. So we got the heat on in the middle here. So we can cancel that one. So I'm deeply concerned about what's going to happen here. Let's get a worker assigned. So we're going to have Treacle go ahead and work in the medical place. Well, actually, you don't need to work there now. We'll leave it unassigned until someone does get sick. But you'll probably be the one there. don't know what you mean by you'd apologize, but it's French. Okay, so we got our little fire back there so they don't freeze to death. There is a chance that the ones way below... but we'll see. The good news about winter is, generally speaking, your taxes are way lower in the game. You still get a tiny bit of taxes, but instead of getting like your 250, 300 a day between your administrative fee and all that kind of stuff, it ends up being like 50 a day, if that. So it's kind of your chance to recover, get ahead of the debt. And the good news, we did get enough of the houses done that no one is currently homeless. All right. That's good news. We can also go here. Oh, it's still not done. I wonder what's happening that they're not getting those done, because it can't be a lack of stone. I'd be expecting to get that done. So you've got your stuff sorted here. So let's go here and expand this field. And little by little, we're just going to keep expanding our fields as much as we can. So it's complaining about your long pathing, and you're going to the super duper duper deep. I don't know who I just kicked off. Hey, sorry, sorry, Long Claw. Or Long Paw. Yeah, so that's what's going on, is they've got the path all the way down there. Which is well below where that elevator drops off. So let's actually see if I can expand this elevator. I haven't tried. Okay, so that's physically blocked by that camp. What's he complaining about? So we can... pathing problems. Yeah, so physically blocking this. Okay, so you're getting cold way over here and probably gonna get sick. So prioritize that. Alright. Where were we making... oh, right, rope was a whole separate building that also took flax. Oh! You can also make threads. Interesting. I'm gonna need you to make some rope, though. We'll get you to make some rope, and all that'll help. And hopefully we get this sorted before they die of heat stroke. Or whatever. Gonna pause work on this building. Okay, so you've got frostbite and all that. So let's have you pop in real fast. Let Bramble help run the clinic. So we put Treacle on helping with other stuff. Because what we want Treacle to do is to make a good couple of units of rope so I can make an elevator that goes the whole way down. And hopefully have the elevator have a couple different stops along the way to shorten pathing. Now we get a bunch of extra... That's not what you want. Literally, they're not even keeping up with that. Because that's a really big problem. Because they will gradually freeze to death otherwise. Yep, people are getting cold. Surprised they're having such difficulty keeping any fuel going. Yeah, their clothing is all going threadbare. Oh, I just realized something. Okay, forget that. Get to the threads. And here's an assistant for you. You. Okay, and everyone is starting to get dangerously cold. We're gonna lose half these people. This might be the end of the run here pretty soon. Because everyone's getting cold, and then a whole lot of them are gonna get frostbite, and a whole lot of them are gonna die. Okay, so we got heat in the middle of town. Let's hopefully get people recovering as quick as we can. In the meantime, as a precaution, put heat right by the clinic. Okay, so currently got 8 people with frostbite, 9 people with frostbite, 10 people with frostbite. $11. So a whole lot of 12. So a whole lot of people are not going to be faring well. It's because they moved over to the automated heating thing, and I ran out of fuel because for some reason they're really struggling. I think it's entirely pathing. I think it's the fact that we're producing the fuel way over here, but the wood's way over there, and we just haven't got the logistics set up for it. And our clinic is overloaded. I only got room for 4. We currently have 14 who need it. Even if I wanted to solve it, it wouldn't be realistic. And we still got people who are cold. We're up to 15 people with frostbite. 18, 19. Didn't you pause work at the clinic? No, it's not paused. It was paused work previously, but we got them working again. Put a second person there, see if that helps. $22 with frostbite. 23 with frostbite. It's over half of the people have it. I don't know what the death rate is with that, but it's gonna be bad. And then we ran out of fuel again, and construction isn't getting done because everyone's sick. And there's definitely a logic problem with the clinic, that they stop eating. So, like, and they don't help feed them or anything. So they kind of go in there and then they just starve to death. And their food is suddenly completely depleting because everyone's sick. So they all work slowly and move slowly. Alright, there's their first death. And the first to die was Longpaw. Don't mind me. I'm just going to be over here for no discernible reason. Okay. But yeah, no, we're still suffering in this one because of the education thing. So we are having some recover without dying. We're down to only 16 with frostbite. And we've only had 1 death so far. We are having people continuously get sick because all the fires aren't keeping up. We're down to 6 with, oh no. Okay. So just 4 educated whiskers might bring... Well, no, just 4 would be fine. The problem is I educated and made every one of my people into craftsmen, so I had like 40 or something craftsmen and all that running around, and I could not keep them happy. And this game isn't one of those ones where you can go like, oh, banish, get rid of them. You're kind of stuck with them unless they die. But if you kill them all, then you gotta keep all these graves sitting around, and there's just a bunch of negatives to it. So it is about being deliberate in your growth in the game. Alright, we got our second death and our third death. So Cody Husky and Code Sage DMC, you have unfortunately passed. What? What? What are you carrying? Oh, he's just carrying the stone above him, but his animation is different because he's sick. Alright, Tangle and Squeak have also passed. Alright. But yeah, so the lessons I learned in this colony that we got bit by was the big one was just the education thing. That education increases expectations. Having a couple of people unhappy with high expectations, that's 100% manageable, but you can't keep building it up too much. The other one is probably going through and putting more effort into where my logistics are. So, you know, if I'm pulling up wood up here, make sure it's over there, which is not a surprise for this genre at all. But because you keep getting stuff later on, it's early on you don't plan for the space of it, especially with how limited space can be. I thought about putting the fires at the four corners so the place will overlap. I have 3 fires that are queued up to be built, and they're just not getting done because everyone's sick. Because I actually did have fires I had laid out in different places, they're just not getting done. What happened you're doing so well? I mean, what happened here is we ran out of fuel for our fires, and then everyone's getting sick, so the fact that everyone was getting sick because we just didn't have any fuel for the fires. Honestly, I feel like you have to have multiple of these things going, which is just an alarming amount of wood being turned into fuel. But yeah, because everyone's sick, nothing's getting done. Like about half of the colony is sick right now. So what was the answer? The answer was to go back in time, to not have the education set that high. Can you make fires out of coal? There is a way later. It's technology. If we look over here, it's under the sifting tower. That we would do that. Oh, is this the educated run? You thought this was the second one? The second one is the educated run. Yep, and we are out of fuel yet again. They still have not built either of the fires, so rip all of them. Yeah, the answer is to go to yesterday me and make better decisions. And before people are like, you need to build a fire, they're dying. We've already got it queued. It's already there. It's the highest priority thing to be built. It's just, it's not happening. Everyone's sick, and so it's not getting done. Now you see what Rual meant by having all those graves around? Well, that's the thing. To be clear, where I made the mistake about education, that wasn't me saying, hey, that's a future me problem. That was me not realizing the nature of what was going to occur. Because new to the game. This is like literally our second playthrough. So we made a ton of really egregious mistakes in the first one, and paid for it. This one we had a really solid run. We got actually relatively far, but because of the overeducating, we kind of got ourselves in an area that we were slowly clawing our way out of the hole. Because if for some reason in Tree's playthrough she wouldn't get wintry islands or weather, no matter what, at least visually, she still had to build fires to keep warm. Interesting. You know what's something I didn't consider? Okay, so all of them are getting snowy. I was honestly wondering if it was a thing like that, depending on where you were at in the islands, if you'd have different climate. Do you get to choose the island? At the start, you do. Yeah, at the start you see all these and you can be able to choose them. For whatever reason, when I got out to the edge, it changed the icon to yellow. What does education do? So education makes it so your mice are a bit more productive, but as a consequence, they have higher expectations, which means it's much harder to make them happy. And you are a mining camp that doesn't have anything to do nearby. And we've officially hit capacity on our gravestones, which are also not getting built because everyone's sick. Yeah, there's only a couple of things that educated mice are need for. We can go ahead and shut down this and kick the people out of the research building. I forgot about that. Yeah, so you basically want to have a couple of educated mice to run things, but not a ton. The other one you could do is getting apprentice and craftsman. And the catch there is they also work more effectively in these buildings here, but again, the consequence is they have higher expectations. And the problem I ran myself into is I maxed out my requirements on most of my people, and like even to this day, literally the best food I can make with my current research is not good enough for them. So that's kind of where we got, where we're like permanently unhappy. Keep them stupid so they won't complain. Sounds like an entirely very realistic strategy. Yeah. Yeah. As many as needed, as few as otherwise possible, as sad as it sounds. Yeah, no, it definitely feels like that's the answer, is, are you going to train someone? Did you figure out flour yet? We need to have research to get flour. And that's not happening because of lots of things. And next one is Darth Strider has passed. And now this is going to make it even worse, because now we have people who are unburied, and their friends are going to be unhappy. And I've already got the gravestones queued up, but, you know, that's not getting done. Dessert, well, that's just mean. You just want to poke fun at how high-tech tree breads kill off the smart ones? I mean, I could use my approval to pick them up and then drop them so they die, but I don't have approval. So I physically don't have a way to easily target one person and be like, that one's going to die. If I had approval, I could go and choose like any one of them and be like, you, pick them up, drop them on the other island, and deal with that. You think everyone will starve to death soon? Yeah. Yeah, no, this is clearly a wipe. Because we're gonna lose a handful more to the cold. And then honestly, trying to get everything back up and running will be obnoxious. And then on top of that, we got a bigger problem here. Look at our taxes. We owe $2,500, and we got $2,000. And it's just gonna get worse. So weirdly enough, their houses being unheated doesn't seem to matter. It's where they're out and about. But yeah, no, so we basically got ourselves in a point where we would spiral it from here. So rather than sit here and just watch it slowly end, I mean, it's not going to be a vote. We're going to restart at this stage. Because we're basically done. Like, even if we were trying to recover at that point, we've already depleted a lot of the ore, so it'd be a whole thing. Okay, so that was what we did the Pirate Seeds. We have the Monarch Lotus. I'm gonna go for the like regular start. We're gonna go for Giant. Underheal. That's gonna be the new town name. We're not going to change a whole lot of stuff here. What I'm going to do is, let's try and just get two, yeah, that's what I was doing, is getting two extractors. We'll jump back in, because we still have 2 hours left for stream. You know, if we don't go along, which I often do. But yeah. So, the lessons we took from the last run. Oh, also, can we get a shout out for Penny Meowie? I completely forgot. Penny Meow is another fantastic content creator, really, really solid. Plays a lot of similar games. I believe, did you also play WhiskerWood? There was something we both played the other day. You were playing retro. There was a category we were in both the other day, and I think, because there's been so many people popping on and all that. But plays a lot of similar games, does like RimWorld, does the whole thing. You've just sent him an email. Gotcha. I think you'll enjoy it. What was the game we were both playing the other day? It wasn't Space Chef. Wasn't Mega Bonk, because I played that for the first time in stream today. Wasn't Necess. It doesn't matter. We play a lot of similar games. So there's a whole lot of overlap in what we play and all that stuff. But yeah, and then the seasons, I believe it's 8 days per season. Was it Ball Pit? It might have been Ball Pit, because we did play that very recently. Okay. And at this point, if you had someone named previously, feel free to do !join. You did play Necess, but that was when it came out. Yeah. Alright, so we get to choose our island to begin with. And I've generally found these islands here have been relatively good to me, but we want to...
Scout ships identified your assigned archipelago as a potential colony as part of the Royal Scouting Commission of 1681. 72 such colonies have successfully been established as a result of those brave Claw's efforts. By the King's graceful guidance, yours could be the 73rd such colony. Your most important building will be the trade dock. Without it, your colony cannot repay its debts. Therefore, I implore you to choose an island and construct your dock. Look for ample trees and berry bushes nearby.
Okay, so just looking at it, I think this one that we're starting right next to is a pretty solid choice. We've got copper, we've got coal, there's even a little gold over there. There's tin, tons of trees, a decent amount of berries. I can use a lot of that for farmland. I can bridge easily over here, much more ore and a little bit more trees. And I can easily bridge over here for more ore. And I can bridge over here for what's going to be like a really solid island for a farm. So I do think in this case we actually got ourselves a really good starting island. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is let's plan to put our dock kind of facing inward in between the four of them to hopefully shorten walks later. Okay, so we got our initial whiskers.
Warehouses are vital to preserving the market value of your tax contributions. Each warehouse has a limited capacity. Watch that you do not satiate your warehouse's capacity on worthless goods. Focus on storing resources that will benefit the kingdom. Logs, cotton, and ores. These goods will keep during long voyages and supply work for whiskers in the royal factories. To reduce carry distances, you should construct the included central warehouse schematic near your trade dock.
Okay. Now, on the hindsight of where it's set up, all the farming and all that's going to be probably over there. Alright. And I'll get to naming them once I got some projects queued up for them that, you know, I'll have a minute where I don't need to do anything. Okay, so we got our initial stuff where they give us our initial supplies.
Congratulations to you and your fellow colonists. Under commission of the king, it is my privilege to offer this colony charter. You embark on a mission worthy of the greatest of whiskers, and all of your kind shall thank you for your efforts. As you tame these wild lands and earn the payment for your taxes, you are doing more than any whisker before you. With your sweat, you secure the means by which some industrious whiskers might enjoy safety. Serve your king faithfully, and his peace will reign over these islands.
Cool. So we're immediately in debt. Alright. So the things it's going to tell me is that I need to make a woodcutter's camp. Which I'm going to plunk right here. And we're going to go ahead and put a ramp up there. And there. And here. And here. And there. So I'll give it access to all that wood. We're also going to need to go in here, and we'll set this to be a priority, because if I don't have that built and I run out of wood, then we just stare at the world longingly going, man, it'd be nice if we had wood, or a means to get wood, or literally anything. Okay. And then meanwhile, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a mining camp over here. And just for the moment, we're going to queue up mining a bunch of these areas. So I am realizing, if I follow through with this, I physically won't be able to reach that. So I'm going to tell them to dig around there. They do have a path. Okay, so that gives me the mining, the foraging, and all that. All the rest of them are just going to be queued to do work for the moment. And while that's going on, let's go ahead and get our people named. So, we've got our very first one, our farmer. You're going to farm. And that's going to be Ultimix.
Paying taxes to the crown is your primary responsibility. Most colonies pay their taxes with ores. Copper pays best, but coal is more plentiful. Desperate colonies will ship out their construction logs. You would be wise to choose the path of non-desperation. Build and fully assign 2 workers to at least 1 mining camp.
Okay. So I got the mining camp done. So they'll get started on their work.
Paying taxes to the crown.
Okay, now back to naming people. Oh, it gave us a free person. Cool. Alright, so then we've got one of our... What are you? One of our mining people. And this would be Sindalash. And now I got one of our explorers. This will be Comac. And then go down to one of our engineers. Yep, new colony means new queue. Because when I pull the name out, it removes you from the queue. So you can put your name back in. So we got Willison as one of the engineers. And sorry for all those people who got in and then immediately the colony fell over dead. It's just what happens. It's like playing RimWorld. And Pulverizer is one of our mining people. And then our last explorer is going to be Radama. Okay, so now I go here, and we got our woodcutters. That'll be Rauda, Comac. And for our woodcutter... Oh, I have this the other way. That's fine for right now. For right now, we're going to have Ultimax. Even though you're a farmer, you're going to start working on foraging. I will bring you along so that you can actually take over this job since you have talent in it. Alright, so we got those basics things set up. The next thing we'll definitely want to get going is the fishing dock. The fishing dock is really a good source of food. So I want to get that online. And then the other things we want is to get some houses built. Okay, that'll be enough housing for 8 whiskers. We'll prioritize you, though. Okay, so speed up time just a little bit. Was there an option for stone and wood houses? There is. The stone houses are worse than the wood ones, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so that's a housing quality 0, and that's a housing quality 1. So it is a thing where there's like a penalty for it. Okay, so meantime we're gonna try and get that going. Once we get our first planks, we're gonna want to get a farm going. Now, the farm is gonna be a tricky one on this island. Because I got a little bit of good ground here. I got a little bit there. This is kind of all garbage. This is good ground on the top, but not really usable. So this is not going to be a good island for purposes of farming. Is there anyone else we want to grab? I'm going to grab you. I will grab the extra farmer. That's going to increase our taxes, which is why I shouldn't do it. But I'm kind of hoping we'll be able to get this online and immediately get them fishing. Ember has 0 expectations? Yeah, but I was looking for a farmer. And unfortunately, Ember down here was not a farmer. Because if you put people on things that are outside their expertise, you take a production penalty. So what I would like to do is I am wondering if instead of going the route of producing cotton, because cotton's worth 21. Rename the new whiskers? Yes, I can get those. So we had scraps here. So that's one of our explorers. And that'll be Tom twice. And then we've got our other farmer. And that'll be Luxray. And that's everyone named. Can you be the fisher? I believe you were one of the farmers. I believe you're literally going to be the fisher. Or at least one of the fisher. There's probably going to be 2 of them. We just gotta wait for these logs to get cut. Which is why I got 2 people on the woodcutter, but only 1 on the foraging. Honestly, now that I think about it, I wonder if it'd be worth my time for where I was making the farm. I'm gonna queue it up already. Basically have the plan to make the ridiculous farm over that way. Okay. For right now, early on, I am going to take the extra planks. Because of the extra planks, we could potentially start the first farm down here, let it start doing its thing. That's fine. We already have the ability to get up here. Let's just build the farm up here. This land becomes usable. Let's go ahead and put a staircase here. And I'll just get as much of that as I can in for the first farm. So that down there is pretty decent. If I put it there, I'll get almost all the usable land down there and a bunch of the land to the right. Okay, so start with that. Only 2 more logs and I'll get this done. Meanwhile, we're going to keep mining all this out. Okay, so the fishing's getting done. Because if I do that, that'll get our food production online right away, and we can actually give the fish to the claws in a pinch. They're not particularly good, but it will help. Alright, we're going to start working on quarrying, getting all that set up. And pretty soon we'll get the first houses online. Okay, so we got our fishing people. Okay. I know we had one person who was an apprentice in this place. Who is our apprentice? It's Icomac. And unfortunately, they're an explorer. So we're going to unassign you from the woodcutter right now. And you're going to at least get the fishing started. And meanwhile, Luxray and Ultimax will deal with that. So it's going to cut back on the number of people we have dealing with the exploration and cutting wood, which is not ideal. But we can use that to start getting our food online. Because if we don't have iComac here, it won't work. So what we're looking for when we have the next opportunity to get some more whiskers is we're looking for explorers or a fisher or a farmer with apprentice or craftsman. One educated farmer, but not actually educated, just kind of educated. We want them trade skill educated, not academically educated. What do explorers do? So when you look at explorer, engineer, and all that, really all that is there's just basically 4 categories. They don't get like some special superpower or anything. What happens is when they work jobs of that category, they get a bonus. And so, for example, woodcutting is considered an explorer job. So whenever a explorer does, that job, they get a 50% production bonus. Same with foraging, that's also explorer. So, like, kind of ignore the name of it and think of it more just, you have work type A, work type B, work type C, work type D. Putting the correct person in the correct job gets, I believe it's a 50% production bonus.
Your attention. Housing is not a luxury. Some whiskers have already resorted to makeshift camps. I implore you to provide us shelter. We cannot survive as a colony living out in the elements. Winter's arrival will see temperatures plunge, and you cannot fight the cold with fires alone. Homes are our only defense.
So they want us to build houses, which we're already doing. Okay, so we're not going to be able to use flax for a while, so I'm going to go ahead and part with that. We're not going to be able to use copper for a while, so I'll part with that. Now I'll be able to use coal for a while, and we'll chuck just a couple units of wood on there to see it over. And with that, we have successfully done our first tax payment. I'm going to mute my mic and have a bite to eat real quick. And taxes are going to get worse. Yay! As soon as we get this, I'm going to take 2 seconds to eat some food. We'll just keep the game. All right, so we got an explorer, so that's good. Unfortunately, we'll grab 2 of them. So we'll grab the explorer, and we'll grab the farmer. So we have a spare. And with this, they'll send me polished stone and planks, which I want to do, because what I can do with that is I can now take the earthworks, which requires the polished stone, and we can place it over here, so that our surplus stone starts making this. And let's be smart about this. I do want to bridge it the whole way over, like I've got that labeled. But we'll start and we'll just do it like that. And then once we bridge that over, we can reach this. We can start doing whatever we gotta do over here. Okay, so we got that. We've only got 8 houses currently being built, which is insufficient. Alright. And then with that extra explorer we got, we can assign that explorer up here. And that leaves me 2 spare people to work on building, as well as everyone else is already queued up jobs-wise. That also means I'm going to want one of the people who digs, because that's what does this job over here, the earthworks. But yeah, so the plan will be to very quickly get this bridge built over here, pretty early on. And like I said, the plan's going to be just, that is wood for days. It's going to be really hard to access most of that wood. But I can see just gradually exploiting this island. They'll probably do the same thing over here, as we'll make a bridge going down this way once we've got the spare materials. There's not as elegant of a place for me to do this over here. So I could bridge all the islands together. Alright, so while that runs, I'm gonna eat food. It's a pork roast with black pepper seasoning. They were on a really good sale, so we grabbed them. And yeah, now is Megapunk unfortunately doesn't really, like, I have to make downtime. That's actually one thing I like about Tycoon games and city builders and that, is you can kind of just create downtime where you want it. Alright, so Rolla here can start farming. I was actually not expecting that to be built that quickly. Good problems to have.
There have been reports of pirates' ransom demands in your part of the world. Under no circumstances are you to yield, or to even consider paying their exaction. Should your colony survive, report back the pirates' shakedown tactics.
Okay, extremely long paths. They perfectly made a wall around here that we can't get across. So let's grab a path. So I've got some spare planks. We can go ahead and take one path tile and can put right there. I don't have logs. You didn't get that? The pirate one yesterday? That's weird. Okay. I'm going to accept the extra planks to help with my early game, knowing I'm going to have to pay taxes on it. Yeah, so put one tile there, just so as they're mining, we can cut across this way. Okay, so that should fix it, because he was way over here. Okay, you got one more cut stone to move over there. We are starting to get our first houses built, which is good. Rename the new Whiskers? Yes. So we got Tippy here, so we got ourselves a brand new mining guild person. And that'll be JD OXO. Rolla here, I believe, was one, so that's our farmer. And that'll be Grundle Snatch. Or Grundle Stash, sorry. Very different meaning between those two words. And I believe, oh, and Rust, which is our explorer. And that'll be Sentient Cookie. Okay, that should be all of our new people. Alright, and so we're getting some berries planted. I shouldn't need the berries. Let's stop the berries. Okay. So the berries are worth 5 each. And they make our people happier. The flax we'll use later on for manufacturing. The cotton is where the money is, but it murders the fertility of the soil. Let's see. Also, you had no visual indicator it was winter. You think your game is a bit bugged? Interesting. Yeah, no, maybe it could be like turning the settings low enough causes it to not render everything or something. I'm not aware of it though. All right. Does the game have a working crop rotation system? So you have to manually rotate. It is something I would like there to be, and it could be that maybe there's an advanced research I'm missing. I think the idea is later on you'll have fertilizer that you can supplement it to not have to deal with it. I was curious though if there was something here. I don't see anything though. Because you got the fertilizer. And that's the whole thing. That's from a limited resource. Yeah, and they're unhappy because they're sleeping outside and their complaints are getting worse about it, but that's fine. We're actively fixing that problem. But yeah, no, it is a thing I would like there to be able to do is a couple things. Like, one, is it'd be nice that once the fertility gets below a certain percent, that you get like a little yellow or orange flag or whatever being like, oh, I see, that's really low. And just the same, like when it's over a certain percent, you would not have the indicator. So if you had it set to follow and it's over a certain percent, it would also have like an indicator. Just so you could see that, you know, hey, you've got that set to follow, but like you really don't need to. Because it does change and it's kind of hard to keep up. It's easy to miss, I should say. Alright. So right now, unless we see... Well, there's an educated explorer. We could bring the one educated one in that we're going to eventually have for research. We're a ways away from research, so I'm hesitant to do so. I can bring another farmer on board so that you can help here. And we'll name Dash there. Now it'll be Cody Husky. Alright, so you're still working on that field, getting it all sorted. Ah, gotcha. I see, so that edge right there is out of range. Which we'd already figure is going to be the case with a bunch of this. So now I could go over here. We'll set that one for cotton as well. Okay, and you're all set up. So let's grab JD. So you're our earthworks person. You can start filling in that land bridge over the other thing. Let's see, this is a sneak peek of the early access, right? Not the 1.0 release? Yes, this is the sneak peek of early access. Not the 1.0 release. Like...
Other matters.
Oh, it's telling me that's done.
They have been reported.
Okay, so we have finished the housing request that they had. So we got 5 houses going. I'm still building more. And what I might honestly do is I might honestly start right at the beginning here and just start converting that into one giant field and like have all this get done, not even worry about that, just start converting this into like just one amazing field. That kind of thing. Do the same over here. That the area I fill in between the islands will be like my primary thing, because it'll be one big flat fertile ground. That's fine. We're actively still working on the outside. Yeah, and we're getting plenty of fish. That's the one we're still looking for, is a farmer with an apprenticeship. We can get apprentice farmer, that'll be good here. Now if we get a craftsman farmer, I believe that last spot might take a bonus if we have a craftsman. Alright, so it's tax day. Okay, so take the trinkets. Take the flax. Alright. So I've got them all squared away. So get out of here. And this time I'm not going to take the extra planks. So you're willing to give me a charcoal furnace immediately right at the beginning. So we already know how to make a charcoal furnace. Now I don't have anything to use that fuel for yet. But that's a big one so far as the tech. We got that one, and that was a blocker for the ore and the smokery. That's usually the first thing I research. I honestly wonder if it would be viable to just not care about research at all, and then just continue to focus on keeping the cats happy and just depend on the schematic, because it's like a 50% chance per time as long as you give them enough of getting a schematic, and it's once every like 3-4 days. The problem would be winter seasons and no taxes mean less chances. This is true. So you get like 2, 3. I'd be like 2.5, 3 times per season for 3 seasons. Well, yeah. Now if we think about it, let's say it's 2 per season. It's actually like 2 and some change, but 2 per season. And one of the seasons we don't get it, so 3 seasons. So that means basically we should be getting about 1 schematic every season. So 3 schematics a year on the average. Obviously, I could have a bad run where I don't get some for a while, or I could have a good run where I get a bunch all at once. Yeah, so meanwhile, they're mining all that out. We technically had 1 single point of approval. There was just one of our mice was like, you know what? I think you did good. Just a little. Tiny bit. They're not actively mad about it. Okay. So per the quest,
we are
I need to refuse the demand.
Who haven't torn off the shackles of the king.
Okay, so we did the required. Rejecting it. Of course, they just only shot houses and this stuff. I'm going to prioritize that, since that's money. Alright. So they do have a farmer. Unfortunately, this farmer does not have the expertise we're looking for. But meanwhile,
there have been reports of pirates.
They gave me the logs I need to rebuild all of that, plus some machinery. What lucky research do we get?
You have been entrusted by your fellow Whiskers to lead their colony. This is the highest honor any Whisker can attain. The teeming masses of mainland Whiskers are pleading to live in colonies such as yours. They wish only to serve the crown on a wild island such as yours. Do not disappoint them. Grow your colony to 21 whiskers, so you can start paying some real taxes.
We got the coal furnace. The coal burner, whatever. The thing you make the fuel with. I'm not going to bother making it yet, because I'll just make fuel... Yeah, line must go up. Yeah, it's literally the name of the quest. I can get you back to mining. Charcoal burner? Yep. Charcoal burner. It's a prereq for a lot of stuff, so it is a very useful one to get. Oh, interesting. Rebuilding them costs significantly less wood than the first time, because it's 5 to build them, 2 to rebuild them. Actually not too bad. They're going to have most of those houses rebuilt in no time, so we got a net gain on wood by letting them blow up our stuff because of the quest. Alright. Oh no, we're going to be doing lots of deforestation. That's part of the reason I want to bridge over here right away. This island's going to be a tricky one. There's lots of trees on it, but getting access to them is going to be not easy. I do expect to find lots of ore in there. So I do think it's one of those cases I'm going to get over to this island and we're just going to tunnel in and start digging it out. Any farm sim updates you're going to test lately? It's in like just over a day. The new expansion for farm sim comes out, and we are going to be playing that. Could you use coal instead of charcoal? So you don't use charcoal itself directly for anything.
May we have better housing? This new island was exciting for a bit, but that excitement has worn off. I wake up each day to the smell of damp. If our lodgings don't improve, this island is never going to be a home.
What happens is you turn the wood not into charcoal, but into fuel. And then coal's the same thing. You combine coal with water to make fuel. So the charcoal burner doesn't make charcoal, it makes fuel. And it's sadly, you're still not an apprentice, so we're just going to leave that alone for right this second. Till we have need for more people. We're going to deliberately try to not expand any faster than we really need to. So it's wax seals. The royal wax seal is what you use to reroll, and you get that by paying your taxes on time. Food does not spoil. We have run out of storage, which is pretty bad. So I'm going to tell them to build more storage right here. Feel like a Diet can of Coke now? Yeah. Yeah, so our basically our mining and our other stuff has fallen behind because of all that. We need to get this all built. You're good, Infinity. It picked up, like, coal burners after absolutely a thing, but it's just picked up as a misogyny thing. And we looked this up before, and it's like, okay, sure, if you're using it in that context, it can be bad. It's also a coal burner is a thing. So it's definitely one of those things. It's a perfectly tame, perfectly fine word that we're like, don't worry about at all. But, you know, obviously, if we're not doing city builders and all that, you know, someone in a Just Chatting stream is probably not talking about coal burners. Let's make coal burner engines and burner inserters and conveyors and power plants, yeah. Because we allow that, like, that's one of those ones I don't want automatically picking up, like, that's fine. The odds of someone popping in here and using it in the derogatory way are so ridiculously low. Like, those are ones when automatic catches, like, yeah, that can go on the allow list, that's fine. If we have that 1 in a million chance someone pops it and uses it for the bad meaning, we just ban them, and then it's a solved problem. Okay, we got a first storage built up here. Yeah, no idea. Well, that's the thing. I didn't know there was a derogatory use for it either until it got flagged by Automod. But that you had to Google it. It seemed more and more like people use 50% of the English language for weird stuff. Yeah, and well, that's the thing. To be clear, the derogatory meaning is one of those things that no one uses anymore. Not really. You gotta be going way back in the vault to find that one. And those ones do come up with whatever Twitch uses for its automod resource. Some of those ones that's like, oh yeah, you know, this is a term used in like the 1915s. And like at that point was like used in an offensive way, and it's like, well, do people still use it? No. Maybe you could find some like really old coal town that's like population 30 that still uses it, but you know they're just now getting the internet. But even that, I'd be doubtful. There's a lot of stuff like that, and I think it's appropriate for Automod to, you know, flag and be like, hey, just so you know. Because again, how often do you talk about coal burners in your day-to-day life? Probably not often. So it's a pretty tame thing to flag, because all you do is you hit allow and then you don't have to worry about it ever again. You play Factorio? Well, that's the thing. In the video game context, when you play, like, Factorio and this, sure, it comes up. But outside, like, you know, 3-4 game categories, because it's not the word coal that's the problem, it's not the word burner, it's the combination that was flagging. But outside, like, you know, half a dozen games, literally the likelihood of someone bringing it... Maybe if you had a stream that was doing, like, a blacksmithy thing, because I could see someone bringing up a coal burner in that context, even though you don't use a coal burner directly in blacksmithy. But it's... I could see the thread that comes across. Oh yeah, no, Factorio's excellent. We did, when the new DLC dropped, we did a full playthrough on the thing. Yeah, you want a... Let's see, you want that inserter for your Steam engines in Factorio? To work with electric res? Yeah, like, you don't need to censor yourself on the word coal burner in the channel. I allowed it. Like I said, my thought is I'd rather Automod jump on a term, and then I can make the decision at that point being like, okay, hang on, that term's fine, don't worry about it. Because we have had one or two that have come through that Automod popped up, and it's like, misogyny, and you're like, what is this word? And then you look up, it's like, oh, this is bad. This is a real bad term. Like, good on Automod jumping on this. It's like, this is, you know, here in the US not used, but maybe it's something like you go to Australia and it's like something that's used there, or... Actually, you know what? Hang on, cancel those. The con's fine. I've got so much fish. The fish aren't worth much, but let's go ahead and pull from the fish first. You had to look up the etymology on that? Never heard that one? Yeah. Let's see, reading the meaning, it seems like 1900s meaning. No one is going to use it these days. Yeah, no, exactly. You didn't know if it made work for you to click those "this is okay" because Automod asks every single time? Well, that's the thing. Once I choose to allow it, it's fine. I can, like, put it on a whitelist or whatever they call it, allow list, that it stops asking, which is also fine. But it's not a big ordeal. Like, that's part of the reasons why it hasn't happened in a long time, but would have, like, the very rare person who makes a big stink because, you know, oh, your auto mod's turned up, like, censorship garbage. And you go, look, man, do you know how I get around it? I push the button. Do you know how much effort it takes? Freaking nothing. It takes 0 effort. Alright, so we're gonna put a bunch of houses over there. Yeah, no, I do think it would be nice, as Infinite Simplex is saying, is that there should be an allow once or allow always. Because there's definitely times where there's a word being used that, like when you're talking about, you know, like air brakes and all that, there's the R word. I'm not gonna say it out loud because it's not contextually relevant. But there is a mechanical term that uses the R word, and it is totally fine and valid. In the context, we're talking about like air brakes on semis or something. But, and thank you for the tier 1 sub, Serverlord. 15 Munchie sub to the channel. I really do appreciate it. It means a heck of a lot. So thank you so much for that, and I hope you enjoy your advertisement previewing. But yeah, like the argument I would have is the R word is used in a derogatory term 95% of the time online. So I do want it to keep catching it. But when we're actively playing something like American Truck Simulator, where we are literally discussing the mechanical thing, I don't want it to flag on that. So allow once, or, you know, to let it through. But outside of that rare, very narrow context, you know. So the berry bushes are gone. Where do I got? So we got more flax down here that you can be grabbing. We can go ahead and chuck no staircase over here because you can't do it. And you can't path there yet. We'll get that sorted here in a minute. I can go here, rocks, cotton, it's fine. Yeah, so want to get that over there. It's going to take me having a spare lumber, but then we can build a staircase here. Hey, Chris, thank you for the tier 1 sub. That's 41 Munchman sub to the channel, kicking off a hype train and all that stuff. Really do appreciate it. But yeah. Hashtag, you take it back. Take it back. Wish Twitch would give streamers more money, though. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, so, like, the base thing for tier 1 is a 50-50 split. And thank you for the, gifting a sub, a tier 1 sub, Lilypad. I really do appreciate it. Means like a lot. So I hope people who got that sub enjoy their advertising reviewing as well as access the emotes whether you wanted them or not. So thank you so much for that. But yeah, no, it's a thing where we get the 50-50 split. If we get enough points, plus points, we can get a 60-40 or 60-40 split in our favor. And then if we get even higher, it's a 70-30 split, which I'm at the 60-40 split now. I would like to someday pursue the 70-30, and I think we could hit it if I really pushed it. I just feel like it would take a amount of pushing that, you know, would really not be great for the channel long term kind of thing. Like I'd be having to like really kind of harp on. Oh, here we go. I'd have to be like, yeah, we're gonna hit it, you know, like hit it, you know, this, that, like really, really, really pushing it. That's good. But do you get the full amount of donations and bits? Well, donations aren't a thing on Twitch itself. But for example, I have Ko-Fi and Patreon, which is what you would donate to. And I get about 92 to 95% ish on that. So I do get the bulk of that, but that is off platform, so you don't get any of the benefits that you do from subbing. So like you'll still get your ads and all that stuff because you're not going through Twitch. Bits, I do get all of it because you basically paid the surcharge or whatever you want to call it. You pay that when you buy the bits. So like if you buy, I don't know what the rate is, but if you buy like 100 bits, it probably costs you like $1.30 or whatever. So you've already paid that surcharge on top of it that you've lost at like 30 cents in the conversion. So when you give me the 100 bits, I get the full $1. Yeah, for you it's like 1.6 per bit. Oh, per 100 bits, I assume. Because it was 1.6, that'd be highway robbery and a half. But yeah. Whatever the rate is, because as well as things that, like, you know, what's the value of a bit when it buys it? Well, it's like, the more you buy, the better rate you get. There's always, you know, all sorts of discounts they do at different points, and it makes it very complicated math. But from my end, it's 1 penny for 1 bit. So 100 bits is $1. As far as stream elements go, I don't know what their rate is. I know it's not as favorable as like Ko-Fi and Patreon, but it's the same thing. It's a third party. They all have like their different rates. I couldn't tell you what stream elements is off the top of my head, unfortunately. Because anytime you're dealing with any of those things, they are going to have to deal with like payment processor stuff and yada yada, and all that's going to be like little cuts that they have to pay on their end. So it makes sense that you don't get the full amount. It just, if we did get the full amount, they would literally just, you know, be doing it as a charity at their own loss. Yeah, 1.6 cents per bit, but then you get 1 bit. Yep. And then the idea is if you instead bought, like, instead of buying 100 bits or whatever, you bought it at, like, I don't know what the cuts are. You bought, you know, 10,000 bits at one go. You usually get a better rate. And then there's also different sales that happen at different points. But the point is, you are paying the extra. So if you bought just the minimum amount, like $1 or $5, whatever it is, you're probably paying pretty heavy percentage. You know, 1.6, which is pretty rough. Whereas again, if you bought, you know, $50 worth of bits, you're probably paying like 1.2, I would guess. Again, without looking. Obviously, do your math. But the point is, whatever bits you throw at me, I get the bits. All the bits you throw at me. Well, I said it's an AUD. Yeah, but still. I think in USD it's probably 1.3 or something like that. But the point is, you pay the upfront, the percent. That's the premium you're paying on top of it. Also, do not buy bits, do not sub on mobile if you have access to a computer. Obviously, you do what you gotta do. You will be paying 30% extra. That's just, or ish. And that's not Twitch being awful. That's literally Google and Apple and everyone else charges them a premium that they have to pay. And so they just pass that forward to you. But then if you sub on the computer, you still get access to it on your phone without paying the premium. And that's not even a Twitch thing. That's literally anything. If you can buy it on a website or on the mobile version, do it via, like, do it via the website if you have the option. So I'm doing here. Actually, it's literally, we're just cotton and fish. That's fine. Oh, no, wait. There we go. Full spin. Yeah, so, and that's like, it literally doesn't matter what we're talking about, whether it's like you're getting something for like, you're getting Office, you're getting Twitch, you're buying Uber Eats or whatever. The moment you involve a website, sorry, the moment you involve a mobile app, you are going to be paying an extra. Okay. We'll keep getting the planks for right now, because we're going to want those. We're still building our houses. We're bringing in tons of cotton. Okay. One of these days, I will get a farmer with a single point in being an apprentice. Okay, there is no more storage. Are you already full? I mean, this is a good problem to have. I'm just getting caught by surprise at how fast we're filling up all these things. Okay. Why not re-roll the wax seals and use for something? So the wax seals are used for re-rolling. I mean, you know, honestly, you're not wrong. I hoard them and I really shouldn't. So that's a person with ridiculous expectations. That'll do. Never mind. I wasted those wax seals. I don't have the approval to actually get them. So I just torched 2 wax seals for no reason. That's not your fault. I wasn't paying attention that I ran out of approval. It's fine. The other run I had 30-something wax seals just sitting there doing a whole lot of bumpkus. Oh, actually, we might be okay. If this is still here in the morning, we might end up with enough reputation to get that person. If not, that's fine too. Because the reason we're not getting happier is the fish is like raw fish is a very low quality food. The berries are a bit higher, but I don't have much in the way of berries nearby, and I'm focusing all of my farms on just paying my taxes so that I could hopefully hold on to as much of the copper and all that stuff as possible. Get a bit of a chewy morning. PC temporarily turned into expensive paper. Yeah, it's no fun. So we might get lucky here, where if I get a little bit of reputation in the morning, I might be able to snag them. If not, that's fine. And that's because I'm making all my people eat just piles of fish. And then their clothing is getting worn. Oh, we never build the baths. Okay, yeah, so the reason we're not getting reputation is entirely my fault. Because I need to go to services here. We need a bath. Okay, when I get a couple of logs, I need to put a bath here. In the meantime, I believe you just require this stuff here. That's fine. So I'll get the place for their food right over here. And there comes the logs. Oh, they're still building. Yeah, so we need to get the bathhouse. Alright, meanwhile I'm gonna make my food disappear while this is going on. Yay, hiccups. Alright, and I notice we don't have enough stone going over here to keep that going. So I'm going to need my miners to get some stone along the way. Yeah, so we're busy building all the wood things here. That's going to take time. To be fair, I only have one person working here. We're going to go ahead and pull up some stone, so I can keep that bridge getting built. And meanwhile, they're slowly getting this all done. Sadly, I can't take any of these people. I don't have the approval for it. It's whatever. We are getting stuff built, though. The cafe is getting built over there. We have the planks. It's just our one building person is having to run back and forth for those planks. Which luckily is all down here. I do have people getting wood from way up there as well. You get copper over there, copper down there. A bunch of ore down here. Okay. Let's see, did you make it whilst you were in the shower, or are you still in the queue? I believe you made it into the first colony. I don't think you're in this one. Pretty sure you're still in the queue. Yeah, you're still in the queue. I just can't bring anyone new on board until we get our approval fixed. Which is me not making a bathhouse. And then me not having wood. And then constantly running out of storage. Which they're gonna get that sorted soon. Set that one to high priority to keep it going. That's fine. I'm also curious when you have these supplies and you go over the number, what happens. I'm assuming, yes, it actually goes beyond its capacity, which is an interesting concept. Oh, and I see right now with the woodcutter, I'm gonna go a bit out of your way. That's fine. Maybe pay more taxes to open up storage, or not worth it? Well, the problem is they're trying to give me planks. I don't need planks. I need logs. I actually have planks. We're actually doing extremely well on the planks front, but in just straight up ordinary boring logs, we are struggling. Because of just building too much.
Do you remember the parable of the lazy cart and the busy beavers? How the lazy cart ignored the advice of the beavers and never stocked up food for the winter? How he preferred the comfort of sleeping in the sun over diligent saving? Winter is coming. We need to be like busy beavers and build up our food stocks. Do you
And
remember
done.
please, may we...
Okay, so you got that. So while we have the ability to queue it up, we're gonna go services and bathhouse. Alright. The next thing that needs to happen is set that to high priority, because if anyone's homeless, when the winter starts, it's gonna be a bad time. Okay, so our storage should be settled again, for the time being. And you're still getting your stuff done. And just that fast, they're maxing out the storage. Which is a good problem to have. A very good problem to have. Cool, so they already got the logs here, so they just need to get the planks in that building as well. For the time being, I'm gonna unassign you. Well, I'll let you put that down. I'm gonna unassign you for right now and unassign you for right now and get you back home. And let you just work on building. Because it's about to get really cold over there, and I'm not going to have use for that bridge or the foraging during the winter. So it'd be much better to get them home, get them working. Get the construction done. Yeah, because we got just that one last piece of wood there, then everyone's got a house. We'll want to put the fire down here for the first winter, just to survive. And then one thing that's going to end up needing to happen, and not too long, is I'm going to need to start making some flax happen. Okay, meanwhile, that is not in range of my farm, so pull that up. There's a spot we could add some more stuff, so we're going to go here, and you're going to be flax. Okay, so once we get these two, we should start being able to get approval again, which will be really helpful. With enough resources, you could build multiple times with enough resources. Could you do that multiple times with multiple buildings? What's the advantage of getting many drones anyhow? Oh, you're talking StarCraft. Okay, I was like, what? I don't understand. All right, so we got our tax collector here. So have your cotton. I'm going to keep 100 of those on hand. Alright, I'm not going to send them on their way yet. I'm going to deliberately delay that in hopes that we get more of the cotton pulled. So I could, you know, basically put more of that to be cotton than coal. Because the fish are renewable and the cotton is renewable. The coal and that, not so much. Okay, they're getting multiple houses built. We got you constructed. There isn't a preference on any of these. Do we have someone who's, like, fast or anything like that? Not really. So we'll have Sentient Cookie. Actually, I'll have Willie-son do it. Because those two are going to get assigned up there, and then the mining person there. And that count for everybody. But with that, they're no longer going to be eaten out in the wilderness, so that's good news. They'll also get a bunch of the food out of the storage here and in here instead. So we got our houses sorted, so no one is staying outside. We've got our cafe done, and we're about to get our bathing dock done. And we also have most of the storage, and the houses are all getting done. Yep, they only need 2 more wood. Yeah, we're in pretty good shape. Okay. I hope it counted. Okay, I think we're good. Because it didn't give me, like, the mood penalty or whatever. So I guess I can queue it up and then leave it alone. Okay, cool. Alright. For a moment there, I thought I had really messed up and actually forgot to give them anything. I am going to go ahead and take the slide unlock, which is an interesting consideration. The slide lets you go downhill really quickly. I've not built one yet, but I could see that being a good thing for, like, being able to drop them down. And as much as I'd like one of you, none of you are what I'm looking for, and I need to just take what we can get. Yeah, so it's warning me about low temperatures. Hey, we got some approval. Alright. So. I'm gonna go ahead. I can't grab that one. It's one too many. Let's grab Wilk here. And you're gonna be a builder for right now. So our brand new person is gonna be Server Lord. Yep, winter's arrived. It's like winters are brutal. Okay, so let's go ahead and just so we don't accidentally fall behind, set that to high priority so we make the fire. It's not cold enough that they'll start freezing to death yet, but it will be there soon. And we're getting that house over there done. Then this house just needs one more wood. I wonder if in the interim, I build a second woodcutter. To get the wood going faster. Because we probably have 1 or 2 more days before it's going to get cold enough to be a problem. Okay. I'm gonna move it up there to shorten the pathing for the woodcutters. Okay, so you should be able to get that fire going. Like I said, if we let it go like another day, that'll be a problem. But that should be good there. It'll give me a warning about deadly cold. And now it should be getting really good approval in the evening. Because everyone's housed, everyone's got food, we've got baths, we've got a nice place to eat. We have people mining resources that are helping us out. We got a bunch of storage we're building real fast. And right now I'm just kind of keeping the corridor of all the resources right there. There we go. Actual rep approval. So, like I said, the problem was I didn't build the dock as early as I should have. Alright, that'll be the last wood we need to get the fire going here. Okay. Alright, so one of the things we're going to want to get done here relatively soon is we're going to want to get planks being produced. We've been holding off on that because I've had a bunch of planks, and because wood has been a particularly pain point. But as much as I could avoid it short term, long term, not really. Then go here, sawmill. I can slide you right in there. And that's when we'll just need someone with engineering. Shouldn't be a problem. Of our spare workers, do I have an engineer? No. So we're going to want to get an engineer. So we're looking for a farmer with at least apprenticeship 1, and an engineer just in general. No qualifications required. Oh, okay. It's time to mind that, so when we get the longer ramp, we can put the ramp there and then put more storage on top of our storage. Keep the storage right in this area. And then maybe what we'll do is I'll carve into this area, and this will be like our manufacturing area. So that we keep all the stuff like the textile production and all that really localized here. All by our storage. And then like later on we can have just the stuff up here as like the temporary storage. So you just need one more wood there, and one more wood there, and then all of that is done. Now you can keep the other two going. And that'll get that done. Cool. The next production we're going to want to have is the Weaver. That requires logs, so we're going to wait on... Well, actually, that's fine. I'm going to have it too. So get the Weaver. Plunk you down here. I'm going to try and wait till we get a log handy. Oh wait, you could just get up here. That's fine. I don't care if they get up here efficiently. There's literally going to be no one doing the Weaver stuff. And the Weaver, on the other hand, I believe that's going to require an engineer. No, it doesn't. Okay. It requires an explorer, but they don't have to be an apprentice or anything. Now, it's warning me it's getting dangerously cold. I do have the fire going in the middle of town. I'm hoping that'll be enough with the people running back and forth. I'm immediately seeing people not getting warm enough. That's a problem. I wish there was a way to tell them to, like, retreat to warmth the moment you start getting cold. It looks like it's fine right now. It probably won't be fine in a day or two. We got all the storage done. I'm going to pause construction here. And pause construction there. And allow them to get a little bit of lumber set aside. Because then we're going to do... I can put a fire over here. There's a gap there I could use. Now it helped them. Your fire's still good for at least another day. Okay, so put a fire up there. That way we make sure they don't freeze to death. Meanwhile, it looks like they're mostly getting this mining done. Okay. Sorry. What were you saying?
The snow has crept down from the mountains. Now even the shoreline is showing the season. Open containers of water are freezing over. The thought of waking up to the sight of a fellow Whisker frozen in the snow is terrifying. Please build enough houses that 0 Whiskers are left homeless. It was never safe to sleep outdoors, but now it is a death sentence.
Okay. And everyone's got
The
homes.
snow is... Please.
Thank you for the free approval. Okay, so that's high up thing. We'll want to get the other one built soon. Alright, so we've got a fire up here by the farms, so that the ones up here cutting trees and farming should hopefully not have to worry about freezing to death. Then we got one down here as well, so between those two I feel pretty good that the only ones that might have any risk is the mining ones. I think they'll be fine though, because they are going back and forth enough that they shouldn't be out in the elements too long. I'm gonna give the logs a chance to recover. Not like a really scary scenario. You wouldn't have said time to boot it into a console, start an offline session. You're 90% sure it won't allow that. Yeah, no, that's having like random network stuff not work is always a weird one. There's all sorts of like weird support stuff. Okay, so you got that going on. So you're gonna have this fire go out soon. So you go ahead and set that for high priority of the wood. We're just gonna try and ride through the winter real fast. And that fire will go out any minute. We got a new one in place. Then we'll get people assigned back out in the periphery once that's done. And once you get a little extra wood going on, we can get these built. But then when we get past the winter, we should be in relatively good shape. Okay, so that one's still good. These ones are still good. I'll be able to do stuff down here. When this one's all mined or cut up, we'll have another place for farm here. That's actually not a bad place for a farm. Well, the big thing that's going to happen is eventually I'm going to want to have a dedicated tree farm area. Okay, so we lost a bunch of raiding. A big part of that is due to the pollution. That a lot of them are getting pretty upset about the amount of pollution we're subjecting them to because of all these open fires. That's fine. Yeah, so you've got over a day on both those fires. And I'm not going to bother having them forge. It's fine. So we got some idle ones walking around, unfortunately, but that's just going to be the way it is. I think it makes more sense than having them run out and then get sick and then have them run back and having a headache with that. Let's go ahead and take the higher one to make sure I've got some more clothes sitting around here. Oh, our new storage is full. Okay. So, I mean, that's a good problem to have as we keep filling up our storage. The best part is it's not on junk materials. We just happen to be getting, like, giant mountains of ore set aside, which is good because that's high value. Guess you're at half. You think the stacking storage? You're stacking your houses, but stacking storage is inspired? Oh yeah, no, that's from playing Timberborn. Timberborn, you learn like all the buildings you can get away with stacking. It's funny because in Timberborn, like I'll have like this main district that'll be like the houses just all in this giant column kind of thing, wherever I could fit them and then up. And a lot of times my storage will be the same way, as I'll have a bunch of storage all stacked up in a tower. Timberborn has a bunch of buildings like these ones you can't stack. Okay, so both those should have a full day left in them. But yeah, no, stacking stuff is really, really helpful. Consolidate space, all that kind of good stuff. So every time I turn around, it's just full. I mean, a big part of it right now is just fish. Just all the fish. I got 209 fish. Okay, and they're getting sad because their clothes are starting to wear out, and again, they're upset about the pollution.
Our fur is not enough to hold back the winter winds. Cloaks will help us keep the warmth of campfires longer and slow the onset of frostbite. Please trade, or make enough cloaks for at least 13 whiskers. More would be appreciated. And don't forget to place campfires in strategic locations.
I have no cloaks. It's fine. So you're getting low, but I don't want to do that too early if I can help it. Well, that's interesting. Was there already coal on the ground? Nah, that had to already be there. Yeah, there was already coal over here. I was like, wait a second. You can't just make a burn pit and then get coal out of that. That'd be like a weird abuse. All right. Yeah, it's fine. I've still got a bunch of storage there. Yeah, so that's going to run out around the end of the day. Is this the opposite of the retirement account investment loss meme? Rual builds a new storage, and it's full. Builds yet another storage, and it's full. I've certainly played games where that's happened, where it's like, I made this giant storage room that I just spent like the last real life 2 or 3 hours making, and it's full. Like Terraria stuff. Where you have one of your buddies is down there like farming whatever material you're trying to get your hands on, and you make a chest, they come back up and just dump a whole bunch of stuff, and your chest is just instantly full. Especially when you're using the dump chest strategy where, like, you have the person, you know, they're hanging out at base, rearranging and all that kind of stuff as needed. Okay, so by the morning they'll get this stuff. You're either a cultist or a fish. You're either up to either the cultist or the fishtron in Terraria Expert mode. Yeah. You're laid 60 by 16 chest set up in Factorio, and it got full. Yep. Oh, especially when you're using the dump chests. For those who don't know the strategy, when you're playing a game and using dump chests, it's where you'll have like your organized part of your base, and you'll just have some boxes when you don't feel like organizing, and you just go up and you just dump everything in it. Factorio, if you set things up, you have the bots eventually clean it up for you. And that's good. Assuming stuff doesn't get full, which is a big assumption. But in Terraria, that the bot that cleans it up is whichever friend you can manage to sucker into the job. Or who just enjoys it and just does it on their own. Okay, so now we can resume construction on the sawmill, because those fires should be good coming out of winter. Okay, both fires are coming online. Alright. So we're going to keep getting the clothing made. But then we're going to want to get flax to start properly making clothes. But so you think you told me this, but you got your brother to log into your world to help you with Plantera? He died in 2 seconds. Yeah, no, Plantera, when you're, especially early on in Terraria, like so far as like number of times you play and all that, Plantera is definitely one of those bosses that there's certain bosses in the game you run into and you can usually knock out in an attempt or two. And there's certain bosses when you're first learning it can really kind of run you through the ringer. Like I would say the twins are one of the ones that runs a lot of people through the ringer where it takes them a while to figure it out. Plantera is one that can run people through the ringer pretty hard. Usually by the time you get to stuff like Moonlord and that, you've got kind of how the game works properly figured out where you can just manage it. You tried to mine away a copper field because you wanted to build a circuit rigging train station there, but also not waste copper permanently by building over it. Turns out a few 100,000 units are difficult to store early game. Yes. Okay. So we need an engineer for our sawmill. Twins are annoying yet. Yeah, you play twins in a hard difficulty. They're definitely one of those ones that you have to have a certain amount of prep, whether that's equipment or cheesy strats, to go into that. If you just try and like throw into them as soon as you get the available, they usually just slap you around. Alright, really quick while they're going to sleep, I'm gonna grab myself another drink and be right back. Yep, okay. So we're gonna hit a little bit hard by taxes in spring, just because we took all those clothing. There are a lot of berries on this mountain that I did not see. That whole upper area is just berry central. Good thing to have. It's still gonna be another one of these ones that's gonna be a little rough to get up here to get all that. Ooh, there's gold up there. There's gold in them there hills. Honestly, the farm on the top wouldn't be terrible. Be a little inconvenient pathing around and whatnot. Yeah. No, Terraria is an excellent game if you haven't played it. 100% would recommend. It's probably the game I've beaten the most times out of any game I've played. Not counting games that's like beating is half an hour or something like that. Like not like the little games like Noita. Like Noita's a game I've probably beaten more times because you just go down there and wipe it out really fast. But now counting that, like actual games of substance, Terraria is probably the one I've beaten more than any other game. Yeah, so you both have plenty of fuel. So when spring starts, we should be able to have you all get back to work out there. This time around, I'm taking a nice, very, very gradual strategy around this. So you still got the cotton there. You're letting that field recover. You've got the flax going. You're letting that field recover. This will be another field to recover as well. Because you're almost a month in, you're slowly working on it. You have 1,000 hours or so in it. Just relax, play, semi-play, watch videos. Yeah. No, and Terraria is a good game for that kind of thing, where you can go, alright, I'm going to do some bossing today, so you can be like very active the whole time. But also at the exact same time, you can turn around and be like, you know what? I'm going to just have a relaxing time playing today. And I'm just going to, build this little farm where I could just kind of sit my person in and the enemies come after me and all my traps kill them and I just collect the loot. Now if you alt-tab out, it pauses. I thought you could turn that on and off. Because it'd be weird for them to add it after all these years. Because I definitely remember there were times where I'd be like working on schoolwork and all that. Back... Was it schoolwork? Terraria's that old, right? How old is Terraria now? That's gotta be like 15, 20 years old? Terraria... You think it's 2013? Doesn't sound right. Only because I feel like I remember playing it in college, and that's... Release date 2011. I mean, yeah, 2011. No, I still would have been out of college. Either way, I'm just misremembering
The
it.
insects are waking up for the spring thaw. Now it is our chance to maximize this year's bounty. It is time to plant crops and expand our farms. Plants will grow quickest in the warmth of summer, so these spring months are ours to till the earth and
plant seeds.
Alright, and taxes. And I am ready for you. So I've got that. Full shipment. Cool. So it's still too cold outside. Okay. In this case, give me the woven cloaks. Alright, that should take care of the cloaks so far. Alright, so now we want new people. So, the farmer does not have apprentice. We need an engineer. So we're not picky here, so let's go ahead and we'll grab patient. And chuck you in here. And so go to our naming, because we got a brand new engineer who's going to be cutting planks. Congratulations. No namer Roy. You are now going to be sitting here cutting planks. And you know what you're going to do tomorrow? You can cut some planks. You know what you're going to do after that? Probably cut some planks. Welcome to your forever. Okay, so we got the heat back here again. So it should warm up. Were there other jobs we needed? Oh, we can resume construction on the Weaver. And the Weaver, I'm pretty sure, was an explorer. So let's check what we got available. So I've got... Alright, so I'm going to need another explorer. So you're thoughtful. We can bring a brand new explorer who is going to be our Weaver. And that'll be Treacle. We won't take any more of the other people right now. We're going to let them do their thing. Alright. And I'm really hoping the next in-game day will be warm enough. Now, it's a little hard to make out. So we've got all this area over here. All of this soil on the top is really good. There's a spot over here that wouldn't be bad for a farm. Very genuinely, this would be another good spot to potentially plug in a farm. Question is, where do I want to actually build the farmhouse? Because up here, should have access to most of that down there. Yes, I think that's where it's going to go. And that's a matter of getting this hooked up where we can actually gain access to it. Okay, so that's going to take a while to get built. I got one last minute addition of Wendy here. So that's going to be your new farmer person. Will be Tech Grash. All right. Yeah, I believe you are, Server Lord. Let me check, because I don't honestly remember. Yes, you are. You are currently an unassigned farmer. Okay, so with that, it should be warm enough that people won't start dying out here. So we will turn this back on and get you to work, JD. And we're going to turn this back on. And that's going to be Tom and Sentient Cookie. We got the pirate blockade. Get out of here. So that leaves us only 3 people who are just working as construction, of which 2 of those are going to be farmers. I need more people. It's fine. Basically, once we get that built, everyone will be assigned. You're rebellious? Yeah, I haven't seen what you do to get rebellion fervor up. Okay, so there's our 2 farmers. Alright, so with this, we're going to start. We can set cotton and remove the rocks. Remove the rocks, set cotton for that one as well. You're gonna be flax. You can be flax. What's it saying? No resources. Oh, you're a forager, that's right. Hey, Salford Cell! Thanks so much for the raid! I really appreciate that. We get a shout out for Salford Cell, another fantastic content creator, also been playing a bunch of WhiskerWood, among many other games that we play on the channel, Oxygen not included, a whole bunch of stuff like that. So very genuinely, if you've been enjoying this, you're probably going to enjoy it over there as well. And of course, that does mean the inverse is also true. Alright. We're going to keep getting this all built, but I do hope you've been having a good time. So you've been playing some Europa. Nice. I hope you had fun with that. We had another WhiskerWood one going earlier. I learned that education in WhiskerWood is dangerous. So we got a fairly new run going. It's about 2-ish hours old. But definitely again, check out Salford Cell, absolutely fantastic creator. And for those who are popping in here, I am Rual Storge, who play variety games here on Twitch. I'm most known for my exploits in Project Zomboid, where I used to hold a world record for the highest kill count run ever streamed. But I do play a lot of, like, you know, survival crafters, simulation, city builders, tycoon, slice of life, pretty wide range of games. So if any of that sounds good, don't forget to drop the follow. That way you can find your way back here in the future. Dangerous? Yeah, so you can get the expectations of your whiskers way higher than you can accommodate very rapidly. So I educated almost everyone in my entire place, and nobody liked living in my place anymore. And I didn't even have access to the technology to fix that problem. So we were dealing with that. And then just eventually things cascaded. But yeah, no, that was a lesson learned, because otherwise we were actually pretty far. I had dug tunnels almost between the islands and everything. Like, we were making really solid progress. Like, tech tree wise, I had most of tech tier 1 done. I was missing some of the stuff down here, but like, we had gotten tech 0 pretty much fully researched, except for like 1 or 2 things I didn't care about, like the plank houses. You ain't gone to schooling, anyone else? It's useful. Be careful. It's one of those ones you don't realize you done goofed until everyone is angry and you can't get approval, and there is no banishing people or anything. You're just stuck with it. Alright, you want decorative paths. That's fine. I don't actually own any paths yet. That's fine. Yeah, no, it's very clearly they designed you to be very gradual and intentional on your growth. Like, very much take your time. Alright, tax collector. Have fish. Fish is terrible on the ratio you get, but I don't care about it. Alright. Fish is very renewable. Is the strategy there. So anytime I have an overabundance of food, get it out of here. Alright. I just need an apprentice farmer. Okay. So we do want one extra person, because everyone is going to get assigned. So right now, what I think we will do is I will bring you along. And we can get planks and stone. And for that matter, No Name Roy, I'm gonna need you to calm down. You're being a little bit too efficient on those planks, so I'm gonna take you off that job for a while. Because you were gobbling up all my all my logs. That's what we could probably do. Do we have an explorer in here? Give me them too. Alright, and we've run out of houses. That's fine. Okay. Alright, that's a stone. Get 3 more houses built. Alright, so what we're going to go ahead and do is get a second woodcutter. I'm going to plunk him over here. Because then we'll get 2 explorers to go over there, start chopping down these trees. Because we got a really good setup of islands here. And I'm slowly using the earthworks to fill that in. With the eventual plan of making that into a giant farm. But that is a very long-term plan. Okay, so we can now finally make clothing. And this is an explorer one, so Treacle, congratulations. You're gonna start weaving. You didn't have any more explorers for me, so that's fine. And you were explorer, right. So if I get a apprenticed farmer, we can have them take over the fishing, which will free up an apprenticed explorer to get them out and about. But yes, things have been going pretty good here. Making some solid progress. But I've very much been enjoying the game. We also did a bunch of Mega Bonk earlier. It was the first time I had streamed that. Had a good time, but it's definitely a game I don't feel like I should knock out 8 hours straight of it or anything. Oh, good. Seeing some approval. I got a supply run, take the minimum that doesn't make him mad. Honestly, I'd rather just keep getting the tools.
We Claws are a humble race. We rarely make such uncouth demands as may be our right. Yet it has come to the attention of the kingdom that too few colonies are repaying this humility with proper respect. Your colony has appeared on such a list. This is your last warning. Build 8 claw statues worthy of the grace we have shown the Whisker kind.
Cool. Long paths, and that is... Oh, that's just a building person. Yeah, that's gonna be a thing. You just got a long way to walk. And so far, the stuff we managed to get... Oh, you don't have anything nearby. Oh, we haven't queued up more mining? That's not a problem. Okay, so we don't have more ore nearby there. And we got more ore here. Got some more over there. Plenty of ore here. Now connect all those up. There we go. I know, inconsistent capitalization on the word built in the quest objectives. Oh, I see. They've been mostly... These two are uppercase, those are lowercase. Yeah, no, they haven't made up their mind if they want it to be, split out that way. Alright, so you are looking for more stuff to... Alright, so what's going to need to happen is I got to wait till we get one more lumber. Then we can get you up to the flax and the berries up here. Let's get you assigned. And we're going to be waiting for another explorer or farmer with apprentice. Okay, before they can use it up. There, now you can reach the flax. There's so much coal on this island. How are you doing over here? So you got that planting cotton. You're going to follow. You got cotton going on. You're going to follow. You got flax. In the meantime, we can go up here. You'll start getting another one of those flax fields going. We got the houses queued up. Alright. So of our remaining people... Oh, Bristle's a new one, isn't that? Yeah, that wasn't one we named, was it? I'm pretty sure that's not one we named. Trying to see the last one we named. I'm pretty sure Bristle was not one we named. I've lost track of where it was. Yeah, no, his Treek was the last one we named, I think. Okay, so we got another one available. So let's go ahead and get Bristle, another explorer. And if that is someone's name I've just stolen, let me know. So we have Dread Vic, or Vink. You're a brand new explorer. So you really gotta wonder if the engine includes rainfall shadow over the mountainous terrain. Because you think when Sal was playing, the lee side of the island was more fertile because of more rain? I have no idea. I have no idea what they have for the generation and all that stuff. I do know you can, like, create fertile soil and all that. Because, like, if we actually look down here, at this soil here that we planted...
Your colony has been found to be undersized. Your tax receipts have not kept pace with an expected growth rate for such a rich island as the one you have been entrusted with. Reach a population of 84 whiskers to remove this stain on our records. 4 whiskers to count in our records. They must not be deceased.
Yeah, so we actually look at this. It'll show it as red, but when you end up looking at the nutrients, while the percentage is like none, when you start farming, it'll actually have a cap of 100 for using where you filled it in. You just gotta get rid of the stones. And the stones are pretty awful. Okay, so we can go ahead and... Well, I'm not necessarily looking for an apprentice here. Let's actually see, make sure I can put them to use. So, I could have... Yeah, let's grab you. And we're gonna go to the Weaver, because I put you here. Now we can unassign Treacle from there. And then Treacle can go over here and start helping with the wood cutting. Okay, that also works. So we basically increased the throughput of our Weaver. Took one person who was a little more strict about what they want for their living arrangements, which is fine. And then in return for that, that got us the extra person we were looking for. Do we already have someone for the farm up here? Or do we need a spare person? No, we already got them all set up. Okay, that's gonna take them time to get all that sorted out. We have so many houses here already. Okay. Make it really solid progress there. The mine's going fine. The thing my intent then is we'll just have someone, like we'll have a second set of mining people set up just like right over here. You're just gonna dig into that thing and look for any and all ore we can find. I'll probably make a straight path that goes through here to help with some of that stuff later, but that's not gonna be an immediate concern. You think Cell was looking at the soil fertility map, which looked like it matched the wind range direction on the island. Gotcha. Yeah, like I said, I have no idea about any of that. I also wouldn't get too attached to any information around that stuff, because a lot of that is likely going to be subject to change as time goes on. Okay. So let's go here real quick. I got a lot of spare planks.
Droughts in the southern colonies have ruined their cotton harvests. The kingdom needs additional cotton supplies. A generous reward has been authorized for any colonies who meet the requested quota. Plant and harvest 34 cotton. Cotton seeds are enclosed in this parcel.
Okay, and we've already done it.
Please, may we...
Cool. So what I'm doing now is I'm getting some paths set up. Last time I also kind of didn't do the paths very quickly. That really hurt our production. I'll leave that there for now. Okay, so now once we put down some decorations, oh, it's interesting that that's so much more. Okay, and I need 2 more. Okay, so I got those all done. Now, the interesting thing is the path decorations don't cost anything, from what I saw. Let's go ahead and put a bunch of streetlights along here. I also don't think they do anything. Functionally, I mean. They look good. Now, the regular decorations will make people happy.
Please.
Okay, so we got that objective done, so I won't have that on the list. We can go ahead and get you back to work. No name Roy. Get into making planks. Where the map, or at least the effective values, will change depending on terraforming mountains anyways. Yeah, I have no idea how any of that stuff works. I don't think it's adaptive in the sense that, like, if I were to start terraforming the land so far as, like, putting up mountains and taking them away, it would change over time. I could be wrong. You can adapt it in the sense of using fertilizer to make it good, or dig it out and then put in new soil to, like, get good soil in there and that kind of stuff. That's just a very different animal. I also think we should put staircase up there, because then the foraging people can get up there too. Alright. Like, if it does take in consideration, it's probably on map generation, not a active updating kind of thing, is what I'm going with that. Alright. We got coal over there, there's copper down there. Okay, you're offering trade. Right now I'm going to dismiss that. Okay, so tax ship has arrived. Okay, so let's give you the trinkets. Gonna knock us back down to about 100 fish. And it's time that we're finally going to actually start biting into our copper. There we go. Full shipment. So you're being left to go to follow. So while that's happening, okay, and new schematic, we can get mushrooms. Alright, so you'll keep working on that. Supply-wise, we'll just keep getting the mechanical parts, because I'm going to need those. We got our winter jackets to complete that objective. Yeah, I would agree, like, having to babysit and figure it all out would be a pain. Alright. So. What did we have going on here? We got our 2 woodcutters. Got our foraging person. Ah, that's right. Our foraging person up here. We're still looking for a farmer with some... I'm going to go ahead and grab the rebellious farmer. Because we're going to want more farmers. And let's check on what we've got here. So I got 2 farmers. 1 rebellious, 1 not. They're gonna get along great. And I will grab a engineer, I think. That way I have someone to keep working on, you know, building and all that, what's going on. Put 2 more houses there. This game looks quite a bit like Timberborn. Yeah, aesthetically, the game's like building and design is very Timberborn-esque. The game loop is a totally different animal, though. Like the game loop is far, far, far more like Tropico, or one of those games where, you know, they harass you about paying taxes constantly. There's not the environmental threat. It is literal, like, the monarchy coming after you kind of thing.
You have been entrusted by your fellow Whiskers to...
Okay, so we got the 21 stuff going on there. So you got that. I could place another one up here to try and take advantage of that last area. Not gonna be the best use of that land, but it's what we're gonna do. Okay, because that'll be able to get the farms they want. It makes a change from being asked how many games compared to RimWorld. Yeah, yeah. Oh, the whole thing, it's like Nordlands and all that. It's like, is this RimWorld? It's like, no, it's not.
Please, may we...
Okay, we got the houses built. You're still cleaning up all the stone here. So long pathing to build the farmer here. And those are going to be pretty rough. One thing I'm probably going to need to experiment a little bit more with in this game is putting deliberately some houses way over here and way over there where I got these other businesses. And then potentially building ourselves another cafe out there. Maybe another bath as well. Just to keep them separated out. so that the Whiskers don't have to run the whole way back down here and then the whole way back every single time they want to wake up and eat, so you don't have that long commute time. It's something I didn't do the entire last playthrough, and I think would have helped. So like over here, have a handful of houses. We'll probably definitely want that if I'm going to make this into a giant farm. I'm not going to split it too much yet. Okay, so we've got the farm here. So we put the rebellious one and the monarchist together. They're going to have a wonderful time. So go ahead and get that one. And I'm sure I should be planting a lot of other stuff than just endless fields of cotton. But the cotton is worth money. And I can hopefully keep the tax man at bay. There's a lot of stone to get off of this hill. Okay. Maybe some berries too, as well as just a patch. It wouldn't be a terrible idea because you get more of a mood bonus with the berries. I'm kind of just looking at this being like, let's just try and get as much money worth of crop as possible.
The insects are waking up for the spring.
Okay, and we finished the thing where I wanted to get us enough farms. So I'm kind of just trying to overwhelm it with just sheer volume of things worth money to avoid hitting my ores any more than absolutely necessary. And otherwise using fish as our one and only food source. Which we'll certainly want to change eventually. But for right now is holding up just fine. Yeah, once I connect this, I'm going to tell it to fill in this whole area. And then eventually I'll probably... Actually, what I'd probably do is put a farm that can cover this area by itself. And then just basically tell them to get to work getting the field sword, and they'll just be kind of a write-off so far as people doing anything else in the colony, because they will be in prep for the giant field. Make those 8 visage buildings. That will reduce your tax need. Visage buildings. Sorry, I'm not... Oh, these? Yeah, I'd love to. You have to actually unlock them, and they're down here. So, like, I unfortunately cannot make them. Because they're right there. It's kind of a weird thing with that quest. Oh, and our storage is once again full. And so far, I'm just letting them just keep all the storage right by home. I know eventually we probably won't want to do that, but for right now it's working. And I'll plan for them to tear all this down. I'll carve that in to give myself a little bit more room for all our production and storage and all that. Because that'll also give me stone, which we're slowly running out of because I'm converting it into... Well, actually, we're not making it into cut stone. That's a lie. We're making it into landfill there. That said... Let's get the stone cutter built up here as well. Cool, everyone's still relatively happy. Alright, Ledge Kindred, you have a good one. Thank you for tuning in, all the good stuff, and coming along with that raid from Sal. We saw the name of the game, you thought it was a moonshine whiskey making game. I could see that. Alright, tax collectors here. So trinkets first. Chuck some fish at you. Okay, so I used a little bit of the coal. So far I'm holding on to the copper, because we end up using a lot of it later. Another thing we're probably going to want to do as well is get another mining camp. Alright. Let's plan for that, so... Mining camp, so you two... are on board for the mining camp. And right now, I'll actually take... you. Alright. So let's go up here. We'll grab a second mining camp. That way you can work on that. Yeah, so that's planks. Let's prioritize you, just so we can hopefully get that up there. And then we're going to have one pair basically dedicated to kind of expanding and exploring, and the other one's just going to be trying to collect ore. Because eventually I'm going to probably want to fill in all this hole. But for the time being, we got them all mining. Now, we do have the slides already, so when we do unlock the forge, I am actually thinking we're going to try and be productive with that, that maybe I'll have a main elevator that comes up, like somewhere in the middle of whatever, and then try and have like one slide that goes like maybe every 5 floors or whatever, because it seems, we'll have to see how the slides work. Okay, so we got you two. And that's 2 new people to add on to the list. So where are you at? It was like Doodle and Scraps, I think, were the names. Oh no, I got 3 of them. So I got Scraps here, so we got an engineer. That'll be Captain Brody. Cool. And then we got Tangle here. Alright, and just double checking to make sure it's actually empty. Cool. And we're still building houses. Okay, so let's start the experiment with the houses. I need more houses. I'm going to deliberately chuck a couple houses up here. There's 3 houses over here. I'm going to go over here and do the same thing. And chuck 3 houses over there. And pretty much the idea with that is I'm trying to get houses over in that area, so they'll still have to go down here for food. Because I don't sure I want to build cafes on all the different ends of the island quite yet. But my hope is to spread that all out there. And that maybe that'll all help. Cool. Which actually, for that matter... The bathhouse doesn't have... Ah, you require a lot of planks. I was going to say, we probably want to get the bathhouses moved around, too. So you can be left to follow. Put you to follow. You keep doing your thing, you keep doing your thing. You're to cotton. And I have plenty of machinery because we're hoarding it. Alright, let's get the next one going. We can get here. Because as you can see, we're just trying to get all these farms up and running as best we can. We'll eventually want to get much nicer houses. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking, Pulverizer. Actually, that's fair. Instead we're just going to put on the 3, put 1 America. Okay, yeah. Actually, this will be not bad at all. The downside is the poor person running the things around is going to be a pain. But yeah, so you could add the bathhouse here, because there's no one needs to work that. And then a cafe there. Because then the hope is that they can get most of their resources. They'll still have to go back and forth once in a while to get stuff, especially since all my storage is down here and I don't really want to move it. Another thing we should probably add in not too long is logistics. It'd be interesting to see how it goes with pathing. Will the pawns on each side use it? That's the curiosity. But I do think it'll be okay if we do start spreading them out. The big thing will be you can assign houses to people. I do think it'll be a matter of being deliberate and saying, hey, you live in these houses. That kind of thing. To like vacate those houses. It'd also be good to potentially get... What we could also potentially do is put a fishery on this side as well. Basically almost mirror this over. So far as like the infrastructure goes. And then we can put a logistics person here and we'll start like assigning 1 or 2 of these to be food only or whatever. To hopefully keep the resources split on either side. Especially since we're already seeing these starting to fill up. Okay. Yeah, so what we could do then is once these are built, put a fishery over here, and then we could build a bunch of storage right down there. And assign that for like just the stuff up here. And we can get a logistics building in place. Which we should probably go ahead and accept that. Get logistics building done. Alright, so there's the cotton. I've got tons of flax. We're going to go ahead and sit on that for right now. There we go. We can't even temporarily tell Whisker to go somewhere, right? Yeah, so I can grab the Whisker and pick them up and drop them at the cost of some approval. It's not that much approval, it's very little. But yeah. So you'll be someone to work on the other side. And I am going to grab our... Well, actually... I'll grab an engineer as an extra person. And for right now, just keep giving me these. Because I wanted an extra person, all that, so I can have someone for the logistics building. And then we got all these way over here. Yeah, so you see it's complaining about having the long walk the whole way across. So that'll be something to work on. We could certainly make a tunnel right through the middle of the area, too. Meanwhile, I will tell it to queue up. Or storage over there. Yeah, so once I get this chunk done, this actually might be the perfect height for it. Okay. You get like a minecart to move fast. I don't believe a minecart. There's a couple things you can do to improve movement speed. If you actually look at the technology down here, where are you at? So there was a steam launcher. Oh, you know what? I take that back. There's quite literally a passenger rail. Yeah, so it's literally it's minecarts. It's an unpowered carts. And there's a whisker launcher that requires steam. Gotcha. So it looks like we yeah, so it's literally we just send them back and forth. That'll be good. But that'll just be a project for them to eventually work on. My intention is that we're going to go in here, find order, and we're going to spread out, so we're going to work our way across all that. And they'll probably do the same thing in all the cardinal directions. We got 2 that are homeless. Okay. So, Server Lord, you work where? Okay, so it did actually seem to assign someone that's nearby there. I don't know if that just happenstance, or actually, I am hoping it's smart enough that it does be like, hey, you're closer. You know, reassign it. That said, it does appear it got upset that the person didn't get home before late. Yeah, so you got a long path. Yep. That's because you live here and you work there. We're gonna slowly try and fix that. Yeah, so you basically got everything right there, so that's perfect. Meanwhile, you do not have any more forgeable things nearby, so we'll just go right here. Plunk yourself another one of these. And one of those. So you keep grabbing all those berries and whatnot. Yeah, so that's the problem we got going on, is all of them, their home is down there. We're gonna work on that. Could you mine a path through the middle of the hill? Yeah, we've already got that queued up. So you see where this is over on this side? There's a little spot right there. So there's a path that goes straight on through the middle. That's gonna be used to basically collect stone, which we will be using over here, and once this is done, we'll also be turning that into stone. That's going to be a very long-term project. The actual reality is it's going to go a little ways in here and be switched. Meanwhile, let's see. You're fine. You're fine for now. You're being left to follow. You're being left to follow. You're making cotton. You're making cotton. You're making cotton. You're making cotton. Everything over here is cotton. Existence is cotton. Is that spot any good? Yeah, so they're not going to get all that. This is all junk down here. Yeah, honestly, all of the soil that isn't utter rubbish will already have queued up here. That's good news. Okay. I like the game? Oh, I very much enjoy the game. I think this is absolutely excellent. We're gonna switch you to be cotton in the future. You're gonna be cotton in the future. The one downside of this side is it's very rocky compared to the other side. So I have to spend a lot more time making it not as bad. And the reason I'm thinking that is we have all the flax on the other side. The big problem with cotton is it utterly obliterates the fertilizer, and it takes you a little while to recover it. We got Treacle. Okay, and Treacle also lives up there. So far we're 2 for 2. That it's putting people close to where they work. And it may run some, like, update when you build a house. It, like, checks to see if people are in a good spot. Yeah, so you have just this here. So I'll add one more house for any extra workers you have over here. And you've got all that. Alright. Now, downside's gonna be handling the cooling, or sorry, the heating when it's freezing, because now I've got people everywhere on the island. And that's gonna be just kind of tricky to manage. That's fine. I'm also gonna tell you to go to cotton, and you to go to cotton for right now. No, keep those two on flax. I need some bringing flax. I'm just making way more flax to have people. So still no luck on getting the farmer on the other side. We can bring the second farmer here. Because again, the plan is to build another fishery over here. The big problem I'm running into is I need another apprentice. Preferably of a farming nature. Don't worry about that quite yet. Okay. So logistics, reject all. I am willing to accept fish berries. That's it. That way we can try and keep just food over here. Hey, John, how's it going? And my storage is full over here, which is not helpful. There. Another massive expansion on storage. And we got everyone's complaining about having to walk so far. Can I get a shout out for Jonathan Ong, by the way? Another fantastic content creator. Does lots of music streams. The cool thing that Jonathan Ong does, not only does he play music amazingly well, but John will sit there and you'll have like, you'll say, hey, play this music. He's like, cool, I've never heard this thing or whatever. You know, puts it on his headset, listens to it a couple times through. And then in the course of, 30 or so minutes, we'll go from hearing a song, relatively like the first time or whatever, to playing it. And not just like, I got the melody or whatever, like really, really get the whole song kind of going. Which is really impressive.
Records indicate you've received more whiskers than your colony has productive jobs. Remember, idle hands lead to dangerous thinking. Reduce the unemployed to a manageable
Yeah, life is gone. But yeah, so again, check out Jonathan on. Absolutely fantastic. Hey, look.
Our records
Already solved the thing. Yeah, so it's complaining about the pathing because people are having to path way too far. Your marker's in the sky. You have no assignment, and you're looking for any free bed. Alright. Okay, that's ore. And more mining here. Okay, so we got some of the mining to like clear out the ledge, work your way through, that kind of thing. Cool, and we got them all building everything. Alright. So before it gets all thing, reject, don't do that. You only accept fish and berries. But you get the idea, that's just going to accept fish and berries. And we're also going to want a couple of these down here to only accept fish and berries. You're already all that, so boom, fish and berries. Logistics, reject all, fish and berries. That way we always have like 2 storage buildings on either side with fish and berries. So as long as I'm not running on a deficit, both sides should have fish and berries on hand for their various stuff. And that should mitigate some of this nonsense. We've almost got that built across. Which, like I said, once it's done, I think we're going to just start filling this whole area in here. Well, actually, no, we won't. What I'll do is once we fill that in, I'm going to try and work our way around here. So, well, I'd have to drill through there. We can move it over here and bridge this area. Basically connect up all the islands. That way, as resources become more and more problematic, I have a more and more way of managing it. We got the smuggler. That's fine. Get out of here. Yep, so you're working all that locally. Yeah, so it does seem it's smart enough to move the people to relatively the closest houses where they work. Alright, so there's the cotton. We can give up the spare fish. We cut that down more. Let's leave the flax for now. Okay. So we're doing really solid there. Alright. So I need an apprentice engineer. Okay, so we're looking for an apprentice engineer. We're looking for an apprenticed farmer. Dear Mobile, did you know that you're on the beta test for the vertical channels? Yes, because it's not only that you get in there, but you have to actually set it up. But yeah, no, I got it all set up. I've been really enjoying it. I know feedback has been mixed where some people really like it and some people really don't. Alright, so we got our engineer. Which is fair. Cool. So we got our engineer. But yeah, no, I've been very happy with it. Because, like, if I take the time, I could go through and get the scenes set up so, you know, if a game doesn't need all the side stuff, I can zoom it in. But if I have a game where I really do need the side stuff, I can kind of shrink it down. I haven't set up the scenes to do all that stuff yet, but it is a thing that I would like to do eventually. The big thing I need to do is decide, like, game by game, set up the masks, all that stuff. Yeah, so that's the thing. I can genuinely change the way it looks out. Because, like, you're losing all the side stuff. Right now, what you're losing the side stuff for this game is you're losing the mission objectives. But it's kind of one of those things if I make it small so you can get the full screen on the mobile version, you can't read what the objectives are other ways. Like, that's the example I usually use is RimWorld. That RimWorld, when you have the full screen showing, all the stuff on the sides is utterly unusable on mobile because you're looking at like 10 pixels and trying to make out what the heck it is. That said, there's certainly an argument in RimWorld about being able to see more of the ground. That's not a perfect example. But one of the things I can do is for games like No Man's Sky, Oxygen Not Included, and a bunch of those, I can grab the UI elements, use the mask, and bring them in. But it's got to be a game I play regularly to take the time to set up the mask. I honestly probably should, like... Honestly, what I should probably do is after stream one day, like, just pull up some game...
Carrying cargo or commuting to work, every Whisker appreciates a good path. A good, proper path. Nothing better. I love it when I start going in a direction, and poof, as if someone knew my destination, a perfect path is there to lead me on. We could use some more good paths.
Okay, yes, that's fine. So checking our spare people. We got 2 farmers. We already got the 1 set. We got some engineers, so we don't want to get anyone new yet. But yeah, I know what I was saying is, I could just sit there and see, like, after stream, just, like, boot something like this up and just, like, let it churn away. And then just take the time, because to set up a mask, all I gotta do is, like, bring up the game, get to, like, whatever the normal in-game scene is, and then just, you know, grab a screenshot of that, grab the UI elements I want to move around, and, you know, do the mask of that. Let's see, you wonder if the beta explains why you had an error when trying to use your PS4 to watch earlier? I don't think so. What it could be, though, is I am using the enhanced broadcasting, which all that means is I'm encoding it on my side to a bunch of different resolutions as opposed to Twitch doing it. But as a consequence of that, some encoding sizes aren't available that used to be. No, it's done. You cannot stand the vertical format, but as long as it's nothing, it's not the only option. You don't care if it exists. Yeah, no, that's the thing. I think the experience on Lilypad will be a lot better once I've taken the time to go game by game for ones I play a lot and fix it. So that way, you know, games where like the situational awareness is more important, you know, shrink it down to like kind of what you had before. Games that the situational awareness is just not that important, or the UI elements on the sides aren't that big. You know, set up the masks and do all that stuff. I think that's going to be a big part of it, where you're going to see like ones that shine and one that don't, is the people who take the time that customize that. You never seen you so big on a mobile screen before? Yeah. The full screen on mobile, you bet it was start out due to a typo. Yeah, probably. But yeah, that's the thing. I do think it's going to be very important for Twitch to keep both options available. And right now, where you could like touch and go to classic, I honestly think it would be better if they got rid of that and either just put it on the gear, so you can be like gear, like, you know, classic, vertical, or whatever. Or when you boot up the stream, have like literally a dedicated button you can push on that'll toggle between it, and have it on both ends of it. So like per game, you can be like, all right, well, I want to see the middle better, touch. I want to go out wider, touch. Let's see, a bit better. You bet it would be better, but you're personally the kind of person who does want to see all the game. Yeah, no, and it is one of those things that there's a lot of games that's actually very important. That the getting just the middle of the whole thing is the whole thing. It's a challenge. It's very much a challenge. That's with software dev I'd done in the past, there was a lot of times I would have to deal with mobile devices, and that was 99% of the entire effort of the mobile thing. Because like you look at a mobile application, it's basically like a glorified web app. You're just using different code and all that. It's that your real estate is this big, and figuring out how the hell to get information on there, and not like have to nest it 30 layers deep or make it too small to read or too hard to interact with if you're touch. As a person who prefer landscape, but many of your casual viewers, well, that's kind of the other thing, is the fact that you can rotate your screen. And with me on the vertical layout, when you rotate your screen, it's the exact same. It's only when you have it in the vertical that the new layout does something. Let's see, most of the games you play showing to see the UI, but for shooters and such, the vertical works fine. Yeah, the challenge with city builders is you're in this weird quasi between the thing where there's information all around, and that can be useful, but also you're on mobile and there's information all around, and it's too dang small to see, and there's really not a happy way of dealing with that, because to zoom it in you got to cut it all away, and you can't mask it because almost all that information is like show as you need it, or like it's conditionally different size, so a mask doesn't work well. And it really is a rough one to do. There we go. You only recently had access to a PC, and you got used to using exclusively mobile for all your viewing, so it doesn't bother you. But the vertical just kills the amount of information you're seeing. Yeah, like no, like to be clear, on the vertical layout right now, up here you're missing where I've got like 3 quests, and they just kind of sit there 90% of the time. But still, that might interest you. I would personally expect, and anyone on mobile who's using the classic view could verify it by it. I'm willing to bet you can see the title of the quests, but that font underneath it that says what I actually have to do, I'm willing to bet you have to try really, really hard to make any of that out. And then on this side, I've got some icons. They are they're not that important, but there is the messages, which tells me that like the supply ship is here, which is the exact same thing you see there. And I'm willing to bet you can't read the label on it, but you can probably read that yellow text. And then the buttons down here I don't think are very important one way or the other. This down here in the bottom left, I have like the weather and the day and the temperature. Those are actually really good candidates for me to use a mask on. And I think there's always something on the bottom right. I could probably mask that as well. So I do feel like on this game, if I were to set it up, I would probably mask the weather and the day and the temperature, and it would mask that gear on the bottom right. I don't believe I could reasonably mask the things on the top though. Like the top over there. And then the very, very top, that's an interesting one, because what I could probably get away with is I could bring the screen, like zoom it in slightly more to kill this bottom navigation and the top navigation, and I could mask that top navigation bar and then shrink it down so it would fit in the screen. It'd be hard to read, but at least it would be there. That'd be a lot of effort. I'd have to like main this game for me to put that kind of effort into it. It would be doable, but that's just it. Like, you're not going to do that for 90% of the games unless it's something you're going to be playing a lot. Cool, we got the Carpenter for free. Love to see it. I'm not going to do that anytime soon, but you know, it's good to have. It's a bunch of planks I don't have to spend researching it. But yeah. So no luck on the stuff there. Oh, we got you set up. Let's get Rex on that. So you're now our logistics person. Okay, so you got all the supplies up here. And like I said, I'm going to experiment. This might be a mistake. Is I'm going to go ahead and put... Oh, actually, can I save? It's fine. You whipped out your phone, you don't even know how to get to Rual. Never mind, you cannot read. That's the only reason they had. Yeah, so I'm assuming you went up here and you can't read. Like that's the catch-22 with these. Is a lot of times in the vertical. We're not counting the horizontal. Horizontal is irrelevant to this conversation. In the vertical, a lot of time it's just you can't reasonably get it up. We'll get you here. When is the full release of this game? So the early access release for this is on the 6th, if I remember correctly. It is the early access. So that's just, I'm just clarifying in case you mean like full release as in like done. Like, no. You mean you cannot read, you meant you're not able to read, go to vertical. Ah, yeah. So, but like I said, that's kind of the catch is when you're looking at your screens. Like when we go on like playing RimWorld, like I said, for me that's a good example. Because you have all those UI elements on the side, they're too dang small to read on mobile. At least for me. Some of the games are really good that they let you scale it up a lot. I actually wonder if this game lets me scale it up a bunch. Oh, that was already scaled up. So not scaled up. Oh yeah, this actually is kind of not great to read even on PC. But I like scaled up. Yeah, so that's already scaled up as much as possible. So like this stuff all here looks great, but these menus on the left, I can't imagine trying to see on a phone. I'm willing to bet even horizontal it's probably terrible to try and look at on a phone. I'm gonna look really fast because I'm just genuinely curious. I am doing all the wrong things. Yeah, so that's with me in the... Yeah, even then, like, yeah, no, on the horizontal, even with, like, chat not showing, I can read the titles, but reading the rest of the text, maybe if I, like, really stared at it, I might be able to. But yeah, no, it's a whole thing. But I'm definitely someone who, I'm past, like it's a thing when games are, like, super dark. It's one thing that sometimes the games are dark with intent. Like, it is a game mechanic for purposes of the game that your darkness is a mechanic that you have to consider. And then there's games that's, like, it's dark because ambiance and you just can't see. And a lot of those these days, I'm like, nah, turning it up, don't want to deal with it. My eyeballs are worth more than destroying them trying to read this. We got get you to follow. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. You're good. You're good. Hey, Hallie, how's it going? Yeah, so all those are going well. These are all going fine so far. And we're one tile away from having that bridge connected. Okay, so you live there, but you work up here. So I need more houses on this end of town. Cool, and we got that all opened up, and we got our path going across there. And we got all our storage here. Oh, that's one thing. What are you dealing with? So you're a mining camp, and you finished up that part. Oh, you've already dug that far? Okay, so what's probably going to need to happen to practically make this work is I'm going to need to go around here, and this will be perfect because we got ore to pull up. So let them go in there, they can dig there, and then we'll move that camp in here, and we'll slowly shift it forward to figuring our way through there. But what I was going to say is these, stop it, berries, fish. Logistics, berries, fish. Up here, reject all, berries, fish. So all these are just food. That's all that gets stored over here is food. So that should take care of all of that in that end, and we'll see how that works. That housing setup cannot be up to fire code. It's fine. I see nothing wrong with it. The thing I am actually worried about is not fire code. It's when it comes time to keeping them warm. I now have mice working here, over here, down there, down here, and up here. So that's gonna be a whole thing where I'm gonna have to have a bunch of fires around. And even worse off, when it gets time to using our actual fuel, they're still gonna be obnoxious to deal with. We're also gonna definitely want to have this pathway through here be set up well. So I think this is one of those things that I am fixing a bunch of problems and I'm creating different ones. The question is, on the other side of it, am I fixing the more difficult problems and acquiring not as hard to manage ones, or am I making my situation worse? The big one I'm actually curious about is when it comes to the fuel management. Actually, it'd be pretty okay because we could have the fuel production wherever, it doesn't matter. And then I could probably have one of the people who like spreads the fuel up between those on this end and on that end. And I think that would be manageable. I'm probably going to need 2 of the fuel productions though. And right now we're not getting nearly enough logs to do anything. It's actually my big concern at the moment is I got 2 different woodcutters going. And they're really not making much progress there. And a big part of that is I don't have storage in the various areas of the map. Alright, so 1 second, we'll go down here before we get into that. Oh, actually I split it up into multiple fields. Alright, 1-1, that's all terrible. Okay, we got the pirates. There's some tools. 1 more round, there you go. Alright, that said though, chat, it is getting to be about that time. I went about an hour long because we had that really big raid right at the end, so I was like, you know what? Let's go long. But I need to go to bed, that way I can stream again tomorrow. I think we might end up playing more of this tomorrow. We'll see. It'll either be this or, honestly, there's a bunch of games. But pretty good odds it'll be this, maybe Necess. But anyways, if you have enjoyed the content, you're not already following the channel, don't forget to drop a follow, that we can find your way back here in the future. I do play a lot of games of this nature and simulation and all that, so all of that, good times and whatnot. If you're watching on YouTube, the stream will be ending abruptly because I don't have a host ready for you, and that's just kind of how it's going to work. But if you're over here on Twitch, don't go anywhere, because what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to this time push the correct button instead of